flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first order of business, would anyone like to make a motion for reorganization?
Sure. Amber?
Sure, I'll make a motion.
I'd make a motion that we appoint Andy Lynch as chairman for the upcoming year.
I will second that motion.
Typically, it goes to the third-year selectman, but I just do not have the time to keep up with it. So if you can keep doing it and love being the mayor of East Brookfield.
Old and retired and all the time in the world.
I can't wait till retirement comes, but it's not quite here yet for me. So for me, I can't keep up with that responsibility. And I think you've been doing a good job of trying to do that, Andy. So I would make a motion that we appoint you the chair.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for chair. Any further discussion?
No.
I reluctantly accept. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Would you like to make a motion for clerk?
I'll make a motion for clerk that if Bob's okay with remaining clerk.
I'd be happy to. I'll second Amber's motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Vote aye. All right, we have a ton of minutes that we've been putting off. I would really like to address them.
I don't have them all with me, Andy, and I think,
They should be in your packet.
oh, they're in the packet here. Great. I didn't print out separate ones and bring them with me.
We have the pleasure of having a very organized clerk, and everything that we vote on tonight should be in your packet in front of you.
I don't know if I saw minutes in here maybe, but let me keep digging for a second.
They were under,
Did you, should be right directly under the agenda.
For your minutes now.
Well, This
This is FYI.
this is my FYI
No,
folder
not
here.
that one.
This is the minutes you just
And
handed me.
open it
This is,
and keep it right up.
gotcha. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
We were holding off on the March 30th one because you had a change you wanted to make?
And if I remember correctly,
Or something?
Andy, if I remember correctly, we were talking about fire department at the time, and you had abstained for a vote. I know that was one of the big ones that I picked up on. You'd abstained from a vote, but then I don't believe it reflected that accurately. Again, that's what I just recall off the top of my head. Looking through it now, I don't know if I see that on the 30th or not, but that's what I recall.
I don't see any where we discussed anything about the fire department on the 30th.
Fire equipment, maybe it's one of the following meetings. Yep, and then I think we may have corrected some of that in the meetings for the next minute. So I have no other comments at this point in time, Andy. If we want to get them approved and move forward, that's fine with me. That was one of the big ones that I saw at the time. And then the last couple of meetings, I didn't really have any major comments on those. I wasn't here on the 18th, but the others I'm okay.
I'd like to make a motion for the March 30th minutes.
So moved. As written.
I'll second that.
You weren't at that meeting?
Nope,
That's the one you weren't at?
I wasn't here until that 11th up there.
If there's no further discussion on March 30th, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. The 27th of April. The motion made by Mr. Button to sign a contract with Alexis Fire Truck for $1,184,000. Motion was seconded by Mr. Lavasher. There being no further discussion, the vote was unanimous and the board carried. Mr. Lynch abstained but had to sign the contract. Is that what
So-
you're referring? to?
Yeah, maybe, Andy, the vote wouldn't have been unanimous. The vote would have been 2-0 with one abstention, right? Because unanimous is all three of us voting
Right,
for
okay.
it.
That's true. In your note-taking, we're on page 2.
Yep.
See it? It says that motion was seconded by Mr. Lasher, there being no further discussion, the vote was unanimous and the motion carried. It should have been vote 2, 4, and 1 abstain. So it wasn't a unanimous vote.
And I mean, I guess you're the chairman, so the chairman signs all contracts. So it's, those minutes aren't, that part of it isn't wrong, but the unanimous, I think, might have been what stood out to me at the time, Andy.
Was that it?
I think so, because I know you're sensitive to that with your familiar stuff going on. So
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the April 27th minutes with the correction as noted.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. May 4th.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. If not, no further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. May 11th.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from May 11th.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Finally, May 18th.
Wasn't here for this one, so. I can make a motion to approve the minutes, Andy. I wasn't here, so I'll abstain from the vote, but I'll make a motion to approve them as written.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Up to date on minutes. Here we go. Jacob, good evening.
Oh, hey, Jake.
Are you from CMRPC?
Yes.
That's going to be a fairly straightforward one, right?
Yeah, out of order, I didn't get it done.
Well, if we can get them going. So you have a contract that you would like us to sign this evening for the open space recreation plan
Yes.
and contract. We have an invoice, but that invoice will be due approve the grant, right? It's not a
Correct.
bill,
Yep.
let's do, okay, that's good.
Just want to clarify, because I don't think, so the invoice is through the grant, but do you want to explain what the state told you regarding the invoice and how
Yes.
the timeline kind of still stuck even though the announcement was late?
Yes, so for some backtrack, and my name is Annie Marie King, Manager of Environmental Planning, Central Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission.
My name is Charlotte Levitt. I'm an assistant resiliency planner with CDC.
So Charlotte and I assisted Amber with applying for the grant back in January, February or so.
Yep.
And so the grant is the land conservation assistance through the state of Massachusetts. It's supposed to take about a month, maybe 2 months of review. I think it took about 4 months or so before you all got your contract. Didn't get fully executed until a couple weeks ago. So we couldn't initiate a contract. We couldn't start any work on it. The way that we had structured that particular grant was to take, give the town 11,000 for this fiscal year to be spent for preparing the open space and recreation plan, and then 14,000 for the next fiscal year to complete that open space and recreation plan. So the contract that the town received stuck to that timeline, even though realistically you only have a month to spend that $11,000, and really half of a month or so, depending on how long it takes to execute this contract. That particular grant is a reimbursement program, so you have to sort of spend the money first, show the state that you spent it, and then they'll reimburse those costs to the town. So there's also attached to the open space plan or open space contract, hopefully an invoice that CMRPC sent over to bill the 11,000 up front so that the town can pay that before the end of June. That way you can get reimbursed for it, and then we're just going to bill to that on our end, and then we'll send we'll send bills for the rest of the 14,000.
And any of that being encumbered into the next year?
Oh yeah, that's all. It's all going to be.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
spend 11,000, I'm sure you can spend 11,000 in 2 weeks, but
I don't even know if we could.
spend it effectively on the,
We're gonna have our first meeting.
Yes. Everything now. So yeah, so that's the intent, that we'll build a town now, but we're gonna be.
and this has nothing to do with the other grant that we're getting into with
Nope.
West Brookfield and Hardwick.
Correct.
So this is just for the update of the open space plan that we did how many years ago?
2000.
Be close.
Long time ago.
All right.
So the only question I have is for the reimbursement part, do I need to sit down with Donna? So the way it's done is because was done now through the portal. All these grants are going through the grant management system. The reimbursement is done through the portal too. All the instructions are on there. You basically, what they want is a copy of the invoice and they want a copy of the check that was made.
Dawn is here tonight, right?
Yeah, I don't know if she is. I haven't seen her. Do
If you want to ask her if she has any issues with this, because there's a signature
Okay.
required by her
you want to go
too.
grab her? just
Yeah,
ask her?
if you would, because I can sign it, she can sign it, we're done, hand it to them, go do your thing,
Okay. Let me go grab her.
and maybe you'll be done by July 1st.
No.
Did you blue pen that?
No, I just didn't bring it tonight. I like brown. Tonight's a brown night, Andy.
The accountant for Bay State Elevator, they did like 10 million a year. Use the pencil.
As an accountant, I'm surprised at that.
Well, they sold the business for 120 million.
Did something
Good to
right.
Florida, so
Yeah,
they're good to go.
did something right.
Just for everyone's information, we are recording this evening. This will be on YouTube. So in your spare time, if you'd like to peruse our meetings. Speaking with our AV guy, we are going to attempt to do the annual town meeting on the 10th of June at the elementary school. That will also be televised, it will also be available on YouTube after the meeting for informational purposes.
That's a good idea.
And his last name.
Levitt, L-A-V-I-T-T.
Thank you.
Sean, did you get a fob for Mark Riley yet?
Yeah, for Mark.
For Mark,
Yeah,
for Mark, his, a new one to get in.
no.
Are you only here for that, Sean, or are you here for something else too? Good.
Plethora of things.
Other things? Okay.
Yeah, we could probably have Mike drop one off with Mark Violet's information on it. And you could have it, and then if he's here at any point in time, he can swing by and grab it from you during your normal business hours. If not, you can, when you leave, you can leave it with Susie, and if he's ever here, when either Susie or Sharon are here, you can just pick it up. Yeah, they're like 39 cents a piece.
I mean, I know I mentioned that the planning board also has filing cabinets in the basement. So I don't know if.
Okay, could you let Mike know that Mark Violet's fob should open the custodian's closet?
And you guys have files in the wetland, in the conservation office too, right? It'll get into there as well?
Okay, Donna, we have the CMRPC contract here. They have talking about reimbursement. They're giving us an invoice this evening for $11,000 and it's going to be reimbursed.
Yeah, that's very common, Andy. I know, yeah, it's very common.
And I have to sign a contract and there's a spot for you to sign it. I just didn't know if you had any questions or if you had an issue with this particular one. This is the one for the open space.
Is that what we talked, is that part of the CPP grant too? It's not.
No.
And it's totally, because
This is the one that you asked me, you said that was
the
the,
open space one,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But there's so many sections of that one that we went over the other day, and then I was still thinking maybe it was even though you just told me to go.
that's fine.
So I have, yes, I have the land that the grant, but I don't have the contract, at least I couldn't find it.
Contract's right here. They just gave it to us this evening.
Okay,
And we may or may not be approving it, and then I'll sign it, and then there's a place for you to sign it, and that's it. It's a done deal.
yeah,
I just, the reimbursement portion of it, they're gonna reimburse, and then there's payment in kind that's gonna be part of the grant
yes.
that we don't have to pay, but it's payment in kind, so we have to record their meeting
Yes.
minutes and all of that. It may and may not be, need to be
Yeah, so I
certified
have
by
all
you.
that. I know we have the grant, I just didn't, and I know that we always hire you guys to do most of our stuff, but I just, I wasn't involved with that just yet.
Okay.
That you were the contractor of that grant.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we have no other issues with this. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Amber, do you want to do it or do you want me to do it? It's up to you.
So just to make sure, am I allowed to, considering this is playground? There's no conflict, right? Okay, I'll make.
To my mind.
To sign the contract for CMRPC to oversee our open space and recreation plan update.
I'll second that.
Just for discussion purposes, your husband didn't put in a bid to do all the work. Just checking. Okay.
You'll be divorced shortly if that's the case.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, motion to have me sign it?
So moved. We approved it. I don't know if you need another one.
One?
Well, I
I'll make a
have to
motion for-
sign it.
I'll make a
Approve the
motion for-
contract, now I have to sign it.
I'll make a motion for the chairman to sign the contract
I'll
for CMRPC.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
And Danny, I spoke with Donna and we'll figure out the portal reimbursement part. I'm going to talk to the state and see if we can get her an account and if it kind of linked to it,
Okay.
so she can oversee the reimbursements.
Okay, yeah, just let me know.
Yeah.
If they come up, you think they can look at it too.
I was telling Mr., I think
You
it's
wanna
complete.
Peruse
He's very
this.
approachable.
Oh, yeah, well, I didn't sign it,
Yeah.
right? You won't take it back again, okay?
It's up to you. I could take it back, or if you want to keep the hard copy and scan it.
Well, we want to make a copy of it, but just,
Yeah.
it does require your signature, so before we copy it, if you want to look it over and see if there's anything that you have an issue with before you sign it. Thank you. Okay, was that it with you guys? You're all set? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Somebody else is doing the other grants?
Yeah,
Probably.
hello,
Andrew Lowe?
for the community block grant, that one.
That one won't be until the next fiscal year, or is that coming up?
So I actually got an update on that. He said that he hopes the announcements are obvious in August, but we learned from the fiscal 25 what happened. The announcements weren't until forever. But he's hoping, he has not heard a time frame, but he said usually between August and September, they'll announce if we got the second round, as long as the timeline isn't mixed up like it was last year again with the feds. So
Fantastic.
it's been submitted, it's sitting there, and next step is just waiting.
Okay.
That was for the community block grant, the fiscal 26 one that we just did. So hopefully an announcement in August, but he didn't have a sure timeline yet. And that was Andrew Lowe.
This Winston Builder stuff, and this is in the signature needed. Yeah.
So we just table.
Change order for,
Change order 4?
yeah, I signed it a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay, all right.
Somebody should be okay.
What's it for, Jake?
There's a light pole credit that we removed, we want the light pole.
Yeah,
In the change order, it says 4.2 light pole modifications.
yep,
If you read page 2, I had the ultrasonic level transmitters moved from the backwash settling tank to the tight tank. It was a longer run, it was like 60 feet longer. So that's what that cost was for. It says it there in the description. Modifying location of level monitoring equipment and exterior tankage on site, cost was $1625.48. The next one. Yeah, this one, the copy I'm looking at was edited because I caught an error on it in the cost for the Iowa version. That's $436.10.
yep,
Down at the well, there's no Iowa station, so we put it out for everyone.
yep.
The next one.
Change order was an owner requested to add additional level monitoring within the existing chemical tanks inside the existing well pump station for well 1. The total cost is $10,086.09.
So during the engineering, design, we never had a level monitor on the full tank for the KOH or the day tank. So,
It's monitoring the chemical tanks, Jake, not the actual water tanks, the chemical.
yeah, so the chemical usage will be monitored. It'll go to SCADA, we can take the number right there like we do the chlorine reading. The KML4 tank has the same
Yeah,
level.
And then item 4.5, change order was owner requested to install a new owner procured propane heater within the existing pump station. This item includes labor for installing and running interior gas lines, as well as coordination with the propane supplier for providing necessary connections for the new unit.
I know.
The total cost for this item is $6,529.53.
That's just the gas line.
Our penalty for not buying it from them. Item 4.6, this is a no-cost change order to extend the contract duration due to delays in the startup process caused by National Grid's delay in getting permanent power hooked up to the new water treatment plant building. The time extension grant is for 46 days.
So hold on for that, then I think we still need to sign it, but one thing I want to make sure we document for the record and or maybe adjust in their description, is there was a lot of reasons why this was delayed, including work by the contractor and whatnot. So not just National Grid. So I don't want to sign something that blames it all on them if it wasn't in fact accurate. But have you done other time extension change order requests yet, Jake, or do you expect to do any?
We did one already.
Okay.
I mean, when was this project supposed to be completed?
Like November 6th or something, yeah. 'Cause I remember at the October meeting, we talked about extending the deadline, and I said, okay, do we need to do that as a change order? And they said, no, we'll just do it at the end and then back up as many days as we need to. And I thought that was kind of unusual, you know, if you do it in October and say, we'll give you another 90 days, and then in 90 days, you look at it again and say, we'll give you another, 90 or 60 or whatever, but apparently they're saying it's 146 days from November 6th.
And I don't necessarily believe it's all associated with National Grid. I don't know if we can document what is or what isn't, or if there's any cost implications. That's the only hurt to us is if it costs more. I don't know that there's additional costs for that time. It was just waiting for the grid to show up and finish the work, right?
Yeah. It's not gonna harm us.
Yeah. It's a contract formality, but there's no financial implication to us for that extra time.
No cost change order, yep.
Okay. So, do you need a motion for that, Andy? Or do you still have more
Yeah, we
motions?
want to change it. If we want to sign change order, we need a request.
So I will make a motion that we approve signing change order number 4.
I will second that motion.
Is there any further discussion?
No.
If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Vote aye.
And then the other information on the old business here is separate from the change order request. This is just what we're going to do with the EDC monies, right? It's 2 separate issues, Amber? Correct?
I believe so.
I haven't been here for last meeting, so I wanted to make
Which
sure.
part are you talking about, Bob? Just
So right where it says in old business change order number 4, tie and bond approval,
Yep.
right after that, it then says that you confirm with Mary that
Yes.
the
We just
grant
make,
is a reimbursable grant. So it's 2 separate issues,
Yeah.
basically,
we
right?
just confirmed with her that it was reimbursable because there was still a question back and forth.
And then I think what's happened here is invoices 18 and 19, we didn't submit an SRF cover sheet and request for, and we're paying the contractor directly. And I believe that gets us to the grant monies that are being sent to us. So you shouldn't have any more SRF payment requisition requests now, Jake, right?
So,
We just need to make sure that we don't overpay or pay too much through the grant. Right?
but we're all lined up to get that grant spent. It was like a 496.
6,000.
Yeah. And I think the way that Donna had set it up is the original application went in and we were reimbursed by the state and payments were made, but the last 2 we've made out of town funds, not out of SRF reimbursement. So that's how we're getting the money back and staying within the letter
As
of the
long as we
law.
didn't make them out of the SRF fund, she said that it would be reimbursable.
Right, we did discuss that
Yep.
Tuesday. What was it?
The 19th.
The 19th. The 19th, we had a meeting down there with the contractor regarding some of the issues they were having with the paint and the epoxy and whatnot. And then when Jake was there, we pointed out a couple other things to try to make it look as nice as we can.
Yep.
We do need to decide at some point in time, we'd like to have an open house at both the new water storage tank and water treatment plant, but we want to make sure that everything's as good looking as we can make it.
Done and operational. and-
Well,
yeah.
it's done and operational, and just some of the silly things, the epoxy paint kind of splattered everywhere. It was on the stainless steel, it was on the pipes, it's on the clips, it was on the covers, the grating.
Did
Yeah,
they?
well, we want to make it look as good as we can.
Yeah, they redid the covers and the grates already.
Yeah.
Did you make a decision, Jake, on what you want to do for paving down there from the plant to the well? Are we going to do that portion of it, or is that still open?
But that's up to you guys and see what we got left.
That would be something we could bring up for discussion. I know the paving that they did at the plant, that's part of the contract.
Correct.
But as far as adding anything else to the SRF, we do have quite a bit in contingency.
Yeah, well, we're waiting on, I think Mary said she's gonna get me the quote for, base replacement.
Yep.
Focus on that before we go ahead and do any paving.
I did point out the base to Amber, so she's familiar with it, and we also looked at the the check valve that's been giving us an issue. That is a new check valve, so I mean, they should,
To be covered under warranty.
well, they should have a look at it. You know, there's different degrees of the material they can make the actual check out of. You know, it has to be hard enough to withstand a water hammer, but it doesn't have to be so hard that it won't close with particulates in there. You know, there's got to be a happy medium in there somewhere. You know, it's a check valve. It should be checking the water, not allowing a pressure drop.
So we would still have time then to look at where we are with those costs and look at where we are with what's left in the
Yeah,
contingency.
we're not closing out the SRF loan, but, you know, we do have to keep in mind that whatever paving we're doing down there is going to be on the water rates and paid over the course of 30 years. So, I mean, you know, we don't want to go too crazy.
There's 425,000 in contingency.
Is remaining. So that's why I think we weren't, you know, I don't think we were going to do the whole road down there because that's probably, you know, a luxury, not a necessity. But I think around the well house where you got a lot of work and you're turning tractor trailers and, you know, it's just a lot of activity and you don't want to be tracking mud in and out of the plant everywhere.
So are we talking from the drive we have now to the well house and the turnaround? Or are you talking all the way to the corner? What's?
Originally, we got a quote for the whole road, it was
Right.
250,000.
250 all the way up to
I
Podunk.
don't know what, from the treatment plant down, from the corner down the well to the worst. Spring and, you know, fall, you get like a foot deep mud trench there. You know, track trailers won't come down in the winter, and so that's an issue. I got bulk haylage, and then when chlorine comes in a track trailer delivery, they won't come down in the winter. We gotta drop it at the highway department, put it on a trailer, truck down there, unload it by hand. That's my concern.
So if we could get the quote, a new fresh quote, 3 different ways, from the corner down to the turnaround, from the driveway to the turnaround, and then the whole road again. We'll bring it up and look at it. It's just,
I think we originally got 2, but
it was quite a while ago and they wanted to add it on right then and there. So where the cost of everything changes, cost of labor changes, cost of fuel changes, cost of, you know, if we just get an update on that, we can probably make a decision on that before they wrap up and move out of there.
Especially if we want to do it before this winter comes, right? And we think we have the money. I'd like to get it done if we can. Jake, for the quote, maybe talk to Mike about plowing it and where I'm just not exactly sure where the entrance is relative to where it sort of levels off down there. My thought was when you came down the road, just before you get to the plant where the basin is that they built, it sort of curves there and then gets flat sort of in front of the plant. I would think somewhere around there, we'd pave to something that makes sense from a plowing perspective and a stability, right? You wouldn't want to pave halfway down the hill,
we plowed ourselves.
right?
Mike will come down, put sand down, and us with salt.
Right.
He will sand, we plowed ourselves.
Yeah, I just don't think you want to start halfway down the hill. You want to maybe find a right place.
No,
to start.
halfway down the hill is what I was saying, that from the corner. So as you start around the corner where the culvert goes under,
Yep.
there's kind of a little bit of a dip and there's usually mud right there. And as you come around the corner, you pass the driveway up to the plant and
Yep.
down around to the turnaround.
Yep.
We just want to do from the driveway to the turnaround. We want to go from the culvert down or the whole thing.
I'm thinking the culvert at a minimum, right? Just to stabilize that area.
We'll see what the prices are.
Like to,
If you turn trailer trucks down there, you should be putting concrete in, not tar.
we have certain limitations as to what's in the contract and what we can do.
Trailer trucks turn like that, it's gonna just tear it all up.
We'll have them give us a thickness to accommodate that, right? So that it's just like a road that's thick enough to accommodate the weight of what's going down there, not just a pickup truck. We should make sure of that too. Right, that the binder's thick enough, basically. I'm assuming what they used for Route 9 maybe or somewhere along that line.
Do a 4 and 2 or whatever it's.
Something like that, yeah. Just have them tell us what it is and then get a quote for it and we can make that decision. Because you're right, you don't want to put a 2 inches of pavement and it'll rip it all to pieces. You're absolutely right.
All right, so Jacob, what else do we have with you this evening? We've got water department policies. Do we have policies in here somewhere? What's that?
That's just the topic you wanted.
Is that the 11 by like 14 things that have the wellhead protection requirements on it? Is that what you were envisioning, or is that just part of it?
What's that?
So in my package of information here, there was something with the wellhead protection requirements. It's just printed on an odd size paper.
This is what he received on May 27th.
Yeah. So that's the wellhead protection requirements. right? Is the policies in there too?
Our policy.
No, he's talking about our water department.
Okay.
So when we go through our policies for the water department, we need to add discharges, mass drinking water regulations require a local prohibition on existing floor drain discharges in zone 2 of public drinking water wells, specifically mass wellhead protection regulation 310 CMR 2221. I didn't think you'd have floor drains in a garage anywhere, right? That's been 50 years probably.
You can have them with the right type of containment and separation, yes. They're not totally restricted.
Oh, I thought you weren't able to
Yeah, you
have.
gotta have oil water separators and
Well,
pump them
It's
up.
not the oil water, we're worried about to see the ethyl glycol, that's what'll really.
No, but you said floor drains in a garage and that's what the.
Yeah, I
would be
just
applicable.
remember when I was building my garage, there's absolutely no way.
We're going back up.
Jake, what would this really apply to down there? There's no drains in the pump house, right?
Well, zone 2 is a large.
Yeah.
From Shore Road, Bodon, all the way to.
Oh, it's not, okay.
Yep. Zone 2, so that's all.
Yep.
It's a pretty big area.
Yeah, there's a map, I think, in the other room that shows the zone 2. I was thinking zone 1 at first, but you're right.
In the email I forwarded you, there's 3 attachments, and one was the map.
Yep. Yep.
Big address. You know, there's one out there. I don't know where that is.
It's the red area that shows up there on that map too, isn't it, Jake? That red shaded area on that map?
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big area.
I was thinking of the zone 1 down at the plant itself, sorry. Because down there, there's no floor drains at all in the pump house, right?
Oh, not the pump house. Yeah.
Just in the treatment plant.
Goes to the
All right, so we do need to go over at some point the rules and regulations that we did, what, 4 years ago, 3 years ago? We need to update some of them. One of the ones that specifically came up last week, we had a commercial building in town that has not been used. They want to take the meter out and stop being billed.
Okay.
However, it's a commercial building with a hydrant literally in their front yard. So how are we going to address taking out meters for buildings that are actually using the fire suppression and have water available at any time they want?
From a cost, 2 separate issues, right? Because the fire service is a dedicated line. It doesn't go through the meter.
Correct, but they have it available to them.
So it's protecting the buildings so they can't, so that's part of the service potentially. I see what you're saying, Andy.
Right, but then, you know, as you go through the years and people say, you know, I'm putting in a well, you know, at what point in time do you say you're on the services available to you, it costs you?
Well, that's separate from the one commercial building. It's 2 different
Right, but
issues.
it came up last week because they came in. And
Okay.
I said that we would address it with looking at our policies and procedures, how we're gonna address it.
For disconnections from potable and from fire protection, right?
Well, it's
'Cause
not fire protection. Fire protection is the hydrants on their front lawn. They don't have fire protection in the building.
they don't have sprinklers. They just have a hydrant in the
Right,
yard.
there's a hydrant that's available to
Okay.
them. Yeah.
But that's different than having like a dedicated
Right,
sprinkler.
it's not a
system in
dedicated sprinkler
That's
line.
what
I'm just
I thought
saying,
you
no,
were talking about.
they have water available for fire protection at that address.
Yep.
They want to disconnect the meter,
Okay.
but the water line's still running into their building.
Right. There's a lot of places in town where water
Exactly,
runs
so we
by.
have to.
Okay. Now I
We need
understand
to
what you're
address
looking to
that.
do. Okay.
I did ask recap for a little help on bylaws, and they said that they would
Yep.
get back to us on that.
Okay.
But, you know, it would be something that we would like to address, you know, is it policy, procedure, is it a bylaw? You know, we kind of want to know.
Yep.
Because there's quite a few places in town, and we do have some requests to remove the meter.
So there's the policy and procedure for what you do for a meter removal request. And then at one point in time, we were also talking about, is there any kind of betterment or fee for properties that it runs by And then also, if there's new
It's available.
construction, is there a requirement to connect automatically with new construction? Right, there's several different
Yeah,
things that fall into that category, right, Andy?
You would have to check the checklist for new construction because you have the curb cut, you have the, we really haven't ever addressed that.
Correct.
We have the driveway cut, but we've never really addressed, if the water main goes in front of your house, do you have to hook?
Whether you have to or not, I don't think we addressed, but you came up with costs for that, Jake, didn't you? When we did some updates last year to the budget?
We discussed it at a meeting and I've made changes, but I haven't, we need to sit down, go through and
Yeah,
okay.
see what makes sense, what doesn't.
line by line,
Yep.
each individual one, because I know, at one point in time, the old town hall, they were talking about putting a 6-inch line into that for fire suppression. Okay, well, how do we address that?
What's the cost for something like that to connect?
Andy, didn't you say last time too, we need to have something in the policy procedures regarding people who want to connect? There's a water line, but remember we were talking, you said there were 3 people who had wells that might be failing and they were thinking about it, but we don't
Yeah,
have anything for connection
We
either.
have no way of connecting there on the other side of Route 9. The water main is under Route 9, which is under moratorium.
Yeah, but they could apply to the state and get a permit and fix that. So you physically could make a connection if there's a main in the street, and
You
if
just
they
don't-
want
you
to
don't-
do it,
Right.
that would be basically similar to Jake's new house connection fee. I mean, it's a building that's already there, but the work's effectively the same. We'd maybe have to vote on that, but I don't think it'd be any different.
One of the things that Jake had brought up on that particular item is he should have a list of qualified contractors
Yeah.
that can do the work.
Yep.
So for instance, you've got, Bob Newhart show, they had the contractor, anything for $1. If they just come in and dig the street up and do a water connection, if they mess something up, they can potentially cut water off from the last shut off on down.
They'd have to
make
have a
sure
minimum.
Whoever is doing it
Yep.
is qualified, certified, and approved by our water department before they start hacking through the street.
And a lot of cities and towns will do that and approve water main and drain layers license, right? And they'll have, contractors would have to give them their license and give them some insurance, and, how long they've been in business, that type of thing. And then usually the select board or the city councilors or whatever would vote to add them to the list of approved drain layers or whatever.
Currently, we don't have any.
Yeah, right now we have a trench permit.
That's the other thing I was going to make. Yeah.
The trench permit requires your liability insurance certificate information. That's a permit fee.
And I think it's Jackie's Law. It's something for excavation support for
Yeah,
trench
for
permits and
trenches,
things like that. So they have to come to highway and they have
Right.
to be a
But
legitimate
as far
contractor to
as-
get that anyways.
The water department doesn't do hookups. It would be whoever's wanting it
Correct.
done would have to have a private contractor
Correct.
do it.
Yep.
But then it would still have to be inspected and approved by the water department.
And,
So-
and again, if we set up a procedure and a policy and have a list of vendors, it would have to be done by a approved drain layer or water layer in town. So you don't end up with people that don't.
So
know
we
what they're
should
doing.
we should be able to dig up the policy procedures we had from
Yep.
3 or 4 years ago.
Yep.
And update as needed.
I think it was in the budget for like 25, I think was last year. One of the two was when we did it, because I remember talking about it at
I
that
want
point.
to say it was 24 anyway.
I'll look and see.
Hmm?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely paid for by the customer. There's also a fee to add to come onto the system. It wasn't anything major, just, because we have to go down there and put a meter in, et cetera, et cetera. So the meters are, 400, 500, whatever they are a piece. We have to add the meter and
I mean,
the
in
labor.
theory, we could set a fee that covers buy into some of the capital investment we've made in town too. There's no prohibition against that either, Andy. Right. Just another way of,
It would be nice.
Yep.
All right, so that's policies, disconnecting
The
service.
wellhead protection, just to follow up on that, do we need to bring that up at a town meeting, Jake, for that approval?
Says to adopt. Floor drain prohibition is adopted, please submit a signed copy of the So we abide by everything except for, so the only outstanding requirement is a non-zoning prohibition on floor drains that discharge directly to the ground. So however we go about doing that, I don't know.
So to address these discharges, mass drinking water regulations require a local prohibition on existing floor drain discharges in Zone 2 of public drinking water wells, specifically Mass Wellhead Protection Regulations 310 CMR 22.21 2A8 prohibits any floor drainage system in existing facilities in industrial or commercial hazardous materials and/or hazardous waste process areas or storage areas which discharge into the ground without a Mass DEP permit or authorization. Existing facilities with such drainage systems shall be required to either seal the floor drain in accordance with 248 CMR 10, connect the drain to a municipal sewer system with all appropriate permits and pretreatment, or connect the drain to a holding tank meeting the requirements of all appropriate DEP regulations and policies. So this is a policy and not a bylaw.
Well, Andy, look at the
Is it?
second paragraph on the cover page, the very first page of this letter. Second paragraph, East Brookfield's groundwater protection overlay district requires a zoning bylaw, our district zoning bylaw meets most of the requirements of 310 CMR 22.21. The only outstanding requirement is a non-zoning prohibition on floor drains that discharge directly to the ground. So we need to basically make that change to the regulations,
Same
To the board, to the planning, to the zoning, so.
the zoning. So that would be a town meeting vote, right, Andy?
We would, if that's the case, we would have to add that to the fall special. So if we can note this, that we have to have that for a zoning bylaw change. And that third page in there
This
has the local requirements. That's the actual wording that we want to put in the bylaw.
And Andy, the zoning is not my specialty, but since Sean's here, the non-zoning prohibition on floor drains, that gets written into the bylaw and approved as part of the bylaw. And then how is it enforced? Through the building inspector?
I couldn't tell you for sure, mostly because the planning board and the zoning board are separate. As far as I know, the board of selectmen operate as the zoning board. So anything like that, I mean, we'll oversee changes in zoning, but not necessarily requirements.
For how it gets implemented once the change is made. Okay. So would you want to review this and make any recommendations to the board prior to that special town meeting in the fall that we adopt it?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if it's necessary, but just as a matter.
Just for you guys to have a look at it. We should probably run it by John also, because he's the one that would be looking at it when he does his walkthroughs for foundations and floors or whatever, but that's for new. As far as existing goes, we don't have a list of who has a floor drain or not.
No, but if it's a prohibition and then any issue is that they're
Right, it
detected,
is
then you can
prohibited,
deal with
right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it'd be an issue if we just go in everybody's garage and look around. So we have a
There's a
problem.
handful of them that come to mind that make me a little nervous too. That's for another day too.
Would you still do?
No,
I don't have a still.
there's no, okay. The only other thing we're gonna talk to you about is the water commission. We probably want to look at what we would have to do to form a commission if we decided to do one. It is in our bylaws, so we wouldn't have a bylaw change, but it doesn't specifically say whether it's an elected or an appointed position. There'd be much discussion on that. Not unlike treasurer and collector, would you want to appoint people that already have the requirements? If it's an elected position, it's just whoever wants to get elected to the board.
And what's the size of the commission and what's the
Whether you
budget
do it
for the
3 or 5,
commission?
if there is a budget.
Yeah.
It could be a voluntary board.
It could be, but you're not, you're trying to
we
get
don't know.
experts
We have
that
to
know
look
what
at
they're
it,
doing.
yeah.
You'd have to have, so this isn't something that's going to be on anything in fiscal 27.
No. This is something we would
28
look at. If there's any bylaw changes that would have to be done or, whatever, we'd have to probably work with either Mass Rural Water or with Recap just to go through the bylaws and regulations, because you'd have to set it all up. Who sets water rates? Does the commission set water rates or does the Board of Selectmen still do it? Does the Board of Selectmen oversee the water commissioners or water commissioners independent? It's just all the nuts and bolts of having a water.
And a lot of duplication for a small town with all the decisions that have been made already. So to me, I question the usefulness of it at all.
Well, going through the history of the town, the downfall was when we stopped having a water commission because we had three guys that were just dedicated to water, and it just became another thing that the Board of Selectmen did. And then for 50 years, we didn't do anything. So
We'd hope we learned that lesson. I mean, I have to look at the value of what it gives us, Andy, and the extra cost.
if there's
Any
a cost.
value. Well, I don't know that we can automatically assume that everybody's going to want to do it for free. There's going to be we also have financial obligations, right? Who's going to agree to the borrowing? And if they don't set rates that are high enough to address the financial debt service obligations, how does that gap get covered? I'm very nervous about how that dynamic
Well, that's
works.
what I'm saying. You'd have to decide whether or not you take their recommendation, and then the final vote would be the Board of Selectmen.
Which then even makes it even more watered down. What's the value of it at that point in time?
So the other
My opinion.
thing we were talking about while Jake was here, we talked to Mike about the cost of paving. I believe that was in the.
Yeah, the cost of paving for Route 9, what's the rush to jump out and spend all that money right away and if we don't have to?
We want to know what it is so that we can plan for it. Okay, so that we know what the cost. It was an unknown cost, so based upon the contract that Mike has, if we do curb to curb, it would be $42,000. But there is an A, B, C, D section of the road, and we've only damaged the B and C section. This is for the patch we have right in front of East Brookfield Pizza. 42,000 is curb to curb, 150 feet, because the DOT required 75 feet.
And that's just outrageous. I think we should be pushing back on that and not just looking at what it's going to cost, but actually what the hell are we doing and why?
If that's required, that's what we would have to do. So we want to make sure we have that available. Yes, sir.
Is it possible that after the asphalt plant comes online, get some material from them, discount rate?
It has to be done to the DOT standard because we chewed up their road. So we have to make sure that whatever we use meets the DOT standard. So the contract that the highway department has with Mass Broken Stone is for all paving. The contract is by the square foot. So that's for them to grind it and repave to that standard with that material that meets the DOT standard.
We have to go out to bid. We can't just kind of come up with prices and get donations on that. It has to be bid.
Because it's Route 9, it's a state highway, it's not our road. We dug up somebody else's road, so we have to fix it to their standard. Around the well, it's a separate deal, but yeah.
Part of it now.
Right.
Down the line, pay the rest of it.
If at some point in time we did the rest of it, that would probably, West Street is a public road, so we could do that out of Chapter 90 if we so desired. Mike is going to come in next week, Mike Olson, and he has some quotes to do Draper, Young, and the worst section of West Sturbridge Road. He had the pole numbers. He had the pole numbers. It's like right in front of Persky's. That whole flat section right there. Because the DOT comes quarterly and rides around with them, makes recommendations. So we have those.
That's been like that for 30 years.
We have those to address, but he's also going to go over his numbers that he has for Chapter 90 and Chapter 90 matching funds that we have.
And the other part of the water plant, just to finish that thought for you, Sean, is we get principal forgiveness through the SRF loan. So if we're going to do it, now is the time because we get reimbursed. If we defer anything, we're paying for 100% of it at that point in time. So we want to make the best decision for those guys to operate it in the most efficient and best way and pull whatever trigger we got to pull now because it'll just cost us way more down the road. So that's specific to the well itself. It's the Route 9 one that annoys me because of how much they want us to do and how much it costs.
So just so I have clarification, who's going to follow up and ask them exactly, Mass DOT, if you can? Did you say Mike was or regarding this?
So Mike and Jake have both been
Both gonna
talking
do
to
that?
DOT
Okay.
and, the time frame is the question. One of the other things that I had asked Mike to talk to the DOT about was North Brookfield Road. North Brookfield Road, of course, is a state road. They take care of it. And, what's their outlook on repaving that? Because we want to know if we have a water main to do.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Is it 5 years out, 10 years out, 15 years out, what is their plan? They have an overall capital plan of all roads in town, all roads in the state, of when they're going to do them. So if you saw the Howard Steen paper.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that in a second too.
So Mike is going to come in and talk to us about the Howard Steen and the chap.
Oh, it's Stein Hudson, yep.
That was the Complete Streets grant.
Yep.
So he got a $500,000 Complete Streets grant. We've done the engineering work already. We paid for that out of Chapter 90.
Yep.
And he could get up to $500,000, but then you couldn't reapply for it again for another 5 years.
Okay.
They've changed that grant.
Okay.
Because we qualified the first time, we're qualified the second time.
Yep.
He is going to reapply for another grant. Now it's up to $1 million.
Okay.
So he's looking at doing all the way up and over Pleasant and possibly around Depot Square to do, with the Complete Streets grant, to pay for sidewalks and possibly paving, depending on where the contract comes in.
And that's what I had remembered was the sidewalks and the curbs, not the roadway, because we still have water work to do there too, Andy. That's what I want to make sure of.
Having a discussion with Mike and having a discussion with Jake, what can we do in-house? Would we want to do in-house?
For what?
For any water main work that we may or may not want to consider doing in-house.
Yep.
So we now have the equipment, the personnel, and the talent to do it, but do we want to? Because when we're doing that, we're not doing other things.
And there's liability
Right.
associated with brakes
that's
and
a discussion to
chlorination
have.
and all that stuff.
So what we'd like to have Jake do is look at what the material cost would be to do the 12-inch from the corner of the old town hall to Parsons. So that's a 12-inch. We know we have shutoffs on either end. We know the 8-inch that just came down Pleasant to Mechanic, that's brand new, has a brand new shutoff. There's like 13 services in there. What would that look like if we did that? So we have the cost of material, we have the cost of the, now Mathbrook and Stone would deliver
You'd
the
have to,
material where we wanted it to, but we would have to have a private contractor to haul out. So we'd have to have
you'd have to bid it, Andy. You'd have to have disposal. You'd have to have a paver to help you do it all. There's a lot of work there
Right.
that's
but we need to look and see if this is something that we can do, because if we're going to redo the sidewalks and we want to repave because we have Chapter 90 money to repave, how would we go about doing that section of 12-inch?
and that was always the plan.
Another section of 8-inch from the intersection of Cottage all the way up and over down to Route 9.
By Lamoureux.
Right,
Yeah.
two separate,
Yep.
two separate times, two separate projects. But I mean, is this something that we would want to do ourselves? The time frame, looking at it, how long it would take, the nuts and bolts of chlorinating it and doing all the hookups and the saddles, and is this something that we can do in-house, or is it something that we may want to put out to bid for a Halleck or a Tebow or
Well, you put it out to bid and you get the lowest
Right,
bidder.
well,
Not
that's
for-
what I'm saying.
You don't pick
You could
people to
have-
put it, you put it out to
No,
bid and
I'm
you get the
saying
lowest
such
bidder.
as,
Yeah, yeah.
'cause we had Halleck that did the side streets.
Or find some grant we can get.
Yeah.
What's that?
Try and find a grant we can get.
Well, we're
You know,
we were discussing grants and how you go about the grants. One of the things that looking at West Brookfield, because they just got a $5 million grant, they are a viable system. They had a capital management plan. They've been working on a capital management plan. They haven't just done nothing. And they had the matching funds. So there's a certain amount of matching funds that they had to have. So they got a $5 million grant for their plant, but they had $1.5 million on hand to do it. So they were able to get the grant. So
And that's work in
Knowing
a
that-
plan, Andy. That's not work on the distribution
Right.
system. It's
but
different.
on the
different
distribution
work.
center, it's still the same thing. You still have to have some matching funds. You still have to have a capital management plan. You still have to be a viable service.
Yep.
So I mean, we want to keep that in mind as we look at grants.
Well, then, just from the idea of us doing it too, though, Andy, we got to look at procurement laws for buying the pipes and the hydrants and make sure we're not violating that. The the disposal costs and bidding that to make sure that's not over the limits for the state.
Yep.
You start doing all of that and you start distracting from the normal day of work, course of business that we have that's already, challenging.
Right.
There's not a lot of municipalities that go out and do a lot of just new pipe installation, Andy. So we'd be among the few, not among the many doing that. Just saying.
Are there,
Doesn't make it wrong,
towns that do-
but there's a reason why most don't do that anymore, Andy.
right, but there are some towns that do small sections.
I'd
this
be
is-
very surprised
This
if there's
is
a lot of them.
section problem.
It's just, hundreds of feet of new main in town, Andy, that.
But it is something that we need to look at, because if we're gonna be redoing the sidewalks, you know, at some point in time, you'd wanna do the street too, so.
You'd absolutely fix the pipe before you pave the road. I would never
Absolutely.
support anything
Right.
other than that.
But if we're doing the sidewalks, we still wanna do the street at some point in time, so on the look ahead.
The sidewalk is being done this year, correct?
It hasn't gone out to bid yet, so it'll probably be next year.
Next year?
Yeah, when he comes in next week, he's gonna have all the bid specs and get the approval from us to put it out to bid. But if it goes out to bid, you know, for July 1st and they open the bids, you know, August 15th or whatever, it probably wouldn't happen till next year anyway.
What's the time frame on that, those grants for work to be completed? How long do they give?
5 years.
I think it generally is pretty long.
Okay, so there's still some time.
Oh, there's plenty of time, but see what he was talking about, the Complete Streets grant, the 500,000, that was just gonna do sidewalks and curbing. It
But
wasn't
he's
gonna do the
reapplying for the
paving.
second round of this?
He's doing the second round, but he's talking about going up and over the hill on Pleasant and
Yep.
possibly Cottage and
So just throwing this out there, Andy, since the email came out today, the DEP's opened up another round of SRF funding starting today that's due in July. Do we want to apply for the Cottage Street, Pleasant Street water main replacement work to finish what we haven't done already? And, you know, do we want to try to put any other application in?
Cottage done.
Not Cottage,
Mechanic.
Pleasant and Mechanic.
Yeah. If it's a straight grant and not
No,
funding.
it's funding like we'd used before, but we can't pave the road without fixing the pipes. So we got to figure out a way to do
Pull
that.
the paving off, you know.
But once you dig it up for the gas company, you dig it up
Yeah,
for the
there it is.
sidewalks and everything, it's a mess. People are just going to be annoyed that we dug it all up without a plan to do the water main work ahead of time, Andy.
So is this something that I've spoken out passionately several times. Is this something where we sit down and we meet with Durant's office and we meet with them about earmarking money for the town for a project like this ahead of time? I mean, if we have
think so.
5 years to spend this money for these complete streets, that's when I would personally like to set up like quarterly meetings with them, at least meet with them every 3 months, give them a punch list of, hey, this is what our town's struggling with. This is what we want to do. Can you keep your eyes and ears open? So if you see anything, would it be possible to send it our way? So that way, next year, when, you know, he's earmarking money for towns, maybe we could get money put aside.
It's not the first time they're hearing about it or whatever.
Correct.
Right, so
Like you said, trying to be ahead of it, Andy.
when we talked to Peter Durant, he was saying that his earmarks are in the $20,000 to $30,000 range, which is why this year we asked for a $25,000 grant for a HVAC study for the
Yep.
town hall. I said, you know, can we get $3 million for existing debt on our water system? And he said, no, his earmarks aren't like
But for
that.
projects
Now, when
going
you look
forward.
at like the earmark that West Brookfield has is actually a infrastructure grant that they have.
It's a federal
Yeah.
grant, not a state grant, Andy.
But it's
correct?
infrastructure,
But
right?
it's a federal grant, not state, so we'd
Right.
have to talk to the right people for that, and it was.
But that
planned.
requires meetings and.
Absolutely, Amber, yeah. I just want to make sure that we're not creating an illusion
Right.
that there's
No, no,
some
no, no.
massive state grant program that doesn't
There isn't,
exist.
there
You know,
isn't,
even.
unfortunately, there isn't grants or us, but we do have to make sure
It'd be
that
nice, wouldn't it?
when we get a grant, if it's a 2080 grant or a 1090 grant, which I've never heard of, but the 2080 grant or a 30.
Those don't exist any, Andy,
30,
those were
70
decades ago, those
You know,
don't
But I know what
we
you're
can do
saying.
that, yeah.
I understand what you're coming from, talking about having money set aside, so that
Right.
when we apply for these,
Because
you have the match available.
The water treatment plant that they're doing in West Brookfield is actually a $6.5 million job. They had $1.5 million and they got the $5 million
But
federal
I
infrastructure.
still think it's
grant.
important that, and I would be willing to, but we have those meetings with them, so that I think it's important to throw them a list and say, hey, listen,
Right.
here's East Brookfield, you've heard from us, this is what we kind of need help with. So
Yeah.
I think we need to establish that,
But we do need to look at
because they don't hear from us. I mean,
the
they told me that.
paperwork that we had from the original. We didn't have any prices for the rest of Pleasant and Mechanic, did we? Or did Halleck give us something?
We could get that cost estimate information in order to use it for a grant application, Andy. I wouldn't be too worried about that. We have some of it from designs that we didn't fund, right?
Yeah.
Because we broke North Brookfield Road off, for example.
Yeah.
So a lot of that I think we could come up with or get.
I mean, if we're gonna go for a grant, we're gonna do something else. So we just want to do Mechanic and Pleasant, or we're gonna look at Mechanic, Pleasant, North Brookfield and Lashaway? Because those are the big ones that we didn't get to.
I might say, yes, it'd be great if we could look at all of them. If I had to pick between Lashaway and North Brookfield Road, I'd probably pick North Brookfield Road because it has a bigger bang for the buck for what it serves downstream from it.
Yeah.
Right, so it's a better investment in the long run.
Yeah, but last
more
year
bang.
is still.
But we haven't had breaks, we haven't had issues, over there. And
Breaks, yeah.
so I just prioritize based on a lot of things, one of which being what's more bang for the buck and more benefit.
Yep.
Amber, back to the quarterly meetings,
Yeah.
we get even, just 1 second, I'm sorry, we get emails from their office on monthly meetings and hours that they have and whatnot. So I think they already have a mechanism to connect with
Yeah,
us.
that'd be
We
great.
just have to maybe avail ourselves of it better than we have.
If I can have that and we find out where it comes from and when they.
Usually you'll get those, Sharon. Once you
Yeah.
get a request.
That'd be perfect.
I was just gonna say, I completely agree with Amber, because when I was reaching out to Donnie's office and Durant's office, both Curtis and Durant and Donna said that it's like crazy that they don't hear from the small towns. And that having a regular meeting with them would help the towns get the help that they need, or at least hopefully create a louder voice for, the towns that are more out west that,
Have a bigger problem than we do dealing
get
with some of this.
overshadowed quite a bit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure Amber was aware of that there's already some of that in place. We just got to maybe, like I said, avail ourselves of it more, participate.
I will happily sit with them. That's not a problem.
Donnie usually has a 5 months of meeting.
Senior center, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Donna does.
always gone.
It's always
he's come
Donna.
in here too, so.
Yeah, they used to come in, when I first got involved, they'd come in once a quarter or once every 6 months and,
Maybe they'll
Toby would
they'll
come
do
more.
that again. Who
Yeah,
knows?
we, I met with Peter Duran a couple of times here. And then, of course, I've seen him at different events. So-
But now that we're online with the videos, right, having them come in and having them maybe talk to us would help people see what we're doing with them too, Andy. So maybe, Amber, after we attend one of their meetings, maybe we would want to ask them to come in here and do the same.
I'll be fine.
Good idea.
All right, Jake, did you have anything else?
I had two other things. Leo was looking for budget information, Andy. I couldn't find and didn't recall, did we ever finally approve the budget that Donna gave us for the water department?
So
I couldn't find it if we
on
did.
March 11th, we approved all highway, police, fire budgets. We had a question on the water budget based upon Jake wanted to redo his overtime versus the on-call wages. He did that, and I thought the next week, I didn't see it in the March 17th.
March
I thought
18th.
we did, March 18th. I thought we had approved it at that time because we had the explanation from Jake.
So we've got, FinCom's got their recommendations basically done now for town meeting, correct?
No.
Okay, so
No,
when
I
are they
was at
meeting
their
again?
meeting last week, and they still had a whole bunch of open ones. So I had said that I believe that we had already approved it. So where we can't find it in our motion, do we want to approve it as Jake presented it? Or do you want to have the exact?
I think I'd want to just make sure that we went through the budget one time, Andy,
Well-
with it all together. Do we have time to do that?
Did you meet with water? Did you meet with finance? To my knowledge, finance has not met with water, police, highway, fire, ambulance, or the board of selectmen.
Okay, so.
They haven't met with anybody. They're just going through the budgets. So
So they've got a meeting this week, right? And then we've got a meeting next Monday, the 8th. In theory, we could review the budget and approve it at that meeting and set the rates at that meeting so that they'd
the
have it.
meeting is the 10th. The annual town meeting is the 10th. I kind of like to look at their budget and see if there's a difference we want to make and just let them know so that they can go through their numbers. Yeah.
That is. Because I could not find.
The water enterprise fund that we had for our meeting, we didn't have, I don't believe we had good numbers for the debt.
So
Is the 1514699, is that the right number?
where the heck, let me just catch up with you, Andy, because I think Donna and I, what is it? 46. Donna and I looked at that afterwards and we felt like that number was pretty close. It was the salary number that was maybe in question, Andy?
No, we had approved when we discussed it on the 18th, March 11th, we approved the superintendent's salary because of the increase in duties and responsibilities.
So we approved his salary, but not the budget.
What we didn't approve was the on-call wages were 20 last year, and he wanted to reduce it to 4, and his overtime last year was 8, and he wanted to increase it to 30 because of the when he comes in, he's on overtime. When Dylan comes in, he's on overtime.
Yep.
When Mike Olson comes in, he's at his rate on overtime.
Yep. I remember talking about
It's
that.
not a stipend, it's not a weekend call. The only one that actually is on call would be Dennis, which he hasn't been on call lately. Since he's changed positions, he's still on our books.
So then the budget that has 30,000 in it for overtime and 4,000 for on-call, basically swapped them with a little bit of an increase, right?
Well, no, this is what he submitted, and this is what we had a question on.
No, but I'm
Reason
looking
we
back
do
at
it.
the 26 budget, Andy, for the
Right.
difference. And
Yep.
it's basically the net of the two is, or the combined two goes from 28 to 34. So there's a slight increase and then there's an adjustment in the categories.
What we did.
Yep.
Come up with this number, the 1514699. The only reason we didn't approve it is we wanted to have clarification on his overtime versus on-call wages, and we've got that.
So you're comfortable with those numbers, Jake, as they were presented? Okay.
I believe we have already approved this, but if we want to make a motion to approve it again, just for the minutes.
I think we should, and then we can make sure that FinCom has it. So I'd make a motion that we approve the Water Department 2027 budget request in the amount of $1,514,699 in total, and as presented.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not,
Just one part of the discussion here, so that this budget, when we then try to set the rates and talk about it next week, the rate discussion that we had a portion of retained earnings being used to lower the rate increase that's needed for fiscal 27. So I just want to make that note that that budget would then be supported by rate increases and transfers potentially.
as we discuss it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's
that's
almost
not-
exactly what you had matched here with that transfer, what you had matched out. It's almost identical to that.
Yeah, and is it a little bit less higher by how much, Amber?
So the one I have here is 1,515,832.
So we're talking 400 or 500.
Yeah, so not much.
Okay.
We're almost spot on with that.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. All
All right, and then we can put on the agenda for next week, a rate discussion to finalize that, Andy, and get those in place.
Did you get the receiver hooked up in your truck yet? From the meter company?
Oh, you brought it by Friday. Yes, I got it.
Okay, have we tried it out yet?
Put the meter serial number in directly and just park in front of the house.
Okay, because going over the numbers that we were talking about in your office on the 19th, we came up with 27 that might possibly be not reading.
23.
Well, some others that we questioned about. Because some of them are occupied, some of them are cottages that you removed them, but
Not reading the signal, but maybe still recording the usage on the meter,
Yeah,
Jake?
if you
That's
go
what I want to
on,
make sure too.
It says signal strength, so I had the owner of Styles come in,
Yep.
sat down, looked at my computer, says signal strength, good, battery, good. So he's like, he gave me the unit, and he's like, try this out. If this doesn't work, I can give you a antenna to boost the signal strength. He's like, that doesn't work, you gotta change them out.
Change out the data units, the data transmission units, the endpoints, yep.
Get in the house and change it out. It's what I've been doing. I've done, I don't know, 10 or 15 in the last year. Which they are covered under warranty, you know.
One of the things he was-
When they give me the new one free.
And that was part of our initial purchase. We have them covered for a period of time. Do you know when that expires, Jake?
I know the endpoints are supposedly good for 20 years.
Okay.
So.
so one of the things he was talking about is when he sends the endpoints back,
Yep.
he's not getting feedback from the company, right? You don't know if it's defective or it.
Right. Yeah, I want to know, you know, I want to know what's going on. You know, why aren't they working? Why does the battery say it's good and it's not, you know?
So that'd be working with the meter company to help you
Well,
figure that out?
This is a Badger product.
Yep.
Through Style, their distributor, so.
Yep.
You know, if they get it, they don't know what's wrong with it, they'll send it to Badger, and I want that. I want report, you know.
But it'd also be nice to know if there's an issue with the batteries, an issue with the transmitters, an issue with the antennas, kind of like to know what the issue is moving forward.
Or is there some battery issue, because now all of a sudden after 10 or 12 or 15 years, we're starting to see that they're starting to fail?
So when he goes around and he gets readings, how are we gonna,
Yeah, so.
approach that as far as the billing goes?
I guess we'd have to look at them all. Initially, just quick thinking, we'd have to look at them all on a case-by-case basis. Hopefully, folks have been using around the minimum, and it's not like we didn't, or we underbilled a
Right,
lot.
but we'd have to probably take them individually, because if you've got one that's, sky high, and you look back through the data, and it's because they've had a zero reading for the last 3 quarters. Do you take it as of April 1st, or do you?
Have to look at the
We
period.
have to
of
look at
time,
every single
a lot
one of them,
stuff.
yeah. So
I
once we
think
get
so,
the
Andy.
data, we'll have to take it up individually.
Yeah, I think so, Andy, because it's such a variation in what could happen from one to the other.
Unfortunately, the number that he thought he had on his meter list, once we started going through and go by the meter numbers and the addresses, it was quite a bit more than we were thinking. So, it's something we got to be on top of, because, either have good meters or.
You want to bill accurately, and then you want to make sure we're billing for everybody that's using and not missing
And
something.
talking to the meter company, we did ask you, the old mechanical meters are only good for 10 years. These are the new meters that all work electronically. There's no moving parts. What is the replacement schedule for these? Are these things good for 20 years? Are they good for 15 years? Are they good for 30 years? Because they're 6 years old now.
Yeah, I'll get that.
Say they're older
It
than
probably
that.
says it
They're
on,
older than that.
I think it says it on the spec.
6 years.
I think it's older than that, Andy.
Was the money improved, like, COVID anyways?
It was
Yeah.
there's like 10 put in
Pre-COVID?
originally, I believe, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think my house was one of them. I remember them. I was like one of the second, third person called.
So if it's 20 years, you got from date of purchase to when it's filed.
It's probably from date of your contract and what your contract says, but
What
would be
we need
roughly.
to find out from the manufacturer, is it from date of manufacturer, date of installation, or date of purchase? Because they're good for 20 years, because going back years now, we found out that all the meters that we had in town were like 35 years old. And if you had a dispute with the water company, if the meter was more than 10 years old, you couldn't rely on the data. So we want to know, what is the reliable data on these? Is it 20 years or is it 10 years? Then you start talking about replacement, because we spent, we got 600 meters. That was money out of free cash.
Yep.
I want to say it was somewhere around 480,000 or something that we paid
I
for the
think that's
meters.
the number of some.
So, we want to know, moving forward with our capital plan, what do we do moving forward?
Yeah, you want to know the lifespan of them, which the manufacturer will tell you, but the warranty stuff would be in our procurement document.
Warranty is separate issue from the replacement.
But it's 2 different people. You don't want to ask the manufacturer. You want to go to what we put out to bid and see what did we require for our warranty period, because that's what they're bound to, not what they say online
Right.
about their period of
But
time.
as far as the replacement, that's not warranty. I'm talking about replacement. What's the reliability as far as, would it be the DEP, Mass Rural Water, Mass Water?
Badger would tell you the useful life of their equipment, Andy. It's 2 different things. The useful life is one thing, how long it'll last for. Where they're guaranteeing it for, what we had in our
But
contracts, the
we
different
still have to come up with a number for replacement. There is a replacement
period. in
period
which-
that we need to
Yes.
find out.
Agreed.
Where went out, I wasn't here when it went out to bid.
So in theory, there'd be bid like in our procurement cabinet would have all the information from when it was bid, but
Have
That
you seen
aside-
anything from
Like, shit.
Badger, or
Have you found that at all?
Yeah, check the base.
yeah,
maybe in your plethora of
I have
material
like
you have?
a meter bid folder.
that's
Okay.
probably where it is, Jake, in there.
There's quotes in there, there aren't any like signature pages, warranty stuff like that.
It'd be a place to start, and then that might put us in another direction
I
as
have to
to.
reach out to them, I'm sure.
What did you have? John? Oh, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that too. Did we cover it in terms of your question a minute ago, Sean? Yeah, okay.
The other thing that we were talking about was your capital asset management plan. We put in for an SRF grant, it was denied. And we asked again and it was denied. You need that for your sanitary survey?
No, I don't need it.
They recommend it?
Yeah,
It wasn't in your final permit as being required. So that what I got the email on today, which is the period opening again, we should talk to Mary Danielson about it, because they can probably resubmit that application for us. We should try. I believe the deadline is July 24th. It just came out this afternoon.
Yep.
And that's the one time a year you can actually go after that money,
It's already prepared, but it's gonna.
change the dates and stuff.
If you recall, one of the issues we've had in the past is a capital asset management plan.
Correct.
We kind of want to have a capital asset management plan. And if we get a grant, that's awesome. If we can't get a grant, we're going to have to do the study. We have to have the document to study. So, all right. Is that anything else for Jake?
No, I think as long as we covered the rates in the budget, which we did, I'm good.
Plant's running good?
Thanks, Jake. Have a good
Plant is
night.
running good? Everything's good?
So good, we don't like to talk about it.
Have a good night, Jake.
Bye, Jake.
Did we already go through the complete streets plan?
Well, we discussed
Do that
it.
Some more.
We discussed it a little bit. Mike Olson is coming in next week.
Sweet, okay. Just wait till then.
On that, I had mentioned that we had department heads in quarterly. It's kind of an informal thing. I don't know if we want to formalize that to make sure that they're on a schedule. It's been a while since we've talked to the fire chief, besides the budget.
Yep.
The police chief comes in usually monthly. Or
It's been a few months since we've talked to him too, so.
Right. But, fire and EMS is a big budget, highway's a big budget, water's a big budget, police is a big budget. Those are our major department heads. We want to make sure that we're touching bases with them.
I agree with that, Andy.
I had told Mike Olson that I didn't have the survey for the Mechanic Street project. And he said, yeah, I sent that to you in January. And then I looked back at it and I'm like, oh, that's why. It's a 28-page document that is very difficult to read on a phone. So that's why I didn't make note of it. I never downloaded it. If you look in your packet.
The drawings and stuff are in there. I
The
saw.
drawings are in there so you can actually see what it is and where all the crosswalks are and all of that. So that the engineering work that we had done. So.
And we really have to look at what the water system is before we finalize that and start ripping stuff apart. That even if we get a grant and it's free, it's criminal to rip stuff apart after you put it in the ground.
Oh, right.
It's just wrong.
But what they were saying when we originally applied for the Complete Streets grant, that anything done on a sidewalk is outside where the water main is. Apparently the water main runs right down the middle of the road. And when you look at where they cut for when they came around the corner from Parsons and then when they came down past the old town hall, it's right in the middle of the road. So.
No, but then when you create crosswalks and you stripe crosswalks and you put in tactile strips and you're ripping them apart to make service connections to a building because the water main runs underneath it, it's just bad practice to do the pipe after you pave.
All right. One thing I wanted to.
So we're going to we'll table more of that until the 8th, Andy?
Yeah, because Mike will be here. At the Finance Committee meeting last week, they were looking for an article for the audit. They thought there'd be a separate article. And I said, no, we approved 28,000 to the selectmen's budget on March 11th.
Yeah, I was going to say that was in the minutes, I thought, tonight too. Or something.
I had her dig that minute up because we did approve increasing that line item $28,000, which would cover the cost of the audit.
And we have to have it. That was part of the discussion.
Absolutely.
Because it's federal grant money that we're
Federal grant
getting.
money, we have to have the audit. But what I was getting at was, this is the third year in a row we're doing an audit. It should be part of our budget. We did add it to our budget, and we did it back on March 11th. How they didn't get it, I have no idea. But we haven't met with finance, so we couldn't point out that it was overlooked.
Right.
So we need to make sure that that gets forwarded. The minutes get forwarded to finance because we did vote to increase our budget by $28,000 to cover the audit.
Yep, I saw that in the notes. The only thing I'll mention about that is the requirements to do it because of federal funding will go away, maybe not next year, but after that, if we're not getting federal funding above that $500,000 threshold, I think, then we won't need to do the audit. So it may or may not stay a permanent item.
We have to look at how far we have to audit to meet the federal requirements. It might be the year before and the year after of the grant. So that might bring us through the next fiscal year 28. We have to double check.
And we'll
before we
still
say
be
no.
getting grant money in the SRF loans through this
So
fiscal
do we have to
27.
keep doing it? Right.
So we're probably gonna have to
Yeah.
do it for a couple more years, Andy, but it would ultimately.
But it's just,
hopefully go
that
away.
was brought up. I just wanted to
Yep.
bring that to
Yep.
your attention.
Can I ask this other question? So I know you guys are talking about the SRF grants, the federal. What about the community block grants? If we pay from those, don't those
We
require,
have to
still
look,
require federal,
we have to look at the source of funding.
And the total amount.
the total
Amber.
amount? Because I don't know
Yeah.
if they'll come close to that, but it's still, that's complete federal funding. So I just don't know.
Yeah, and I think if we got 480, we were just below the threshold,
Okay.
but then when you put that with the SRF, it
That's okay.
definitely pushed us above. And then we'll probably stay above for a year or two, like Andy was saying, and then we'd have to reevaluate
But
it.
that goes into it, that
Yeah,
block grant.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
All of the grants we have currently on the table, through CMRPC and through the SRF and through the,
All the federal ones.
yeah, I mean, the funding isn't just state. A lot of it is tied into federal. So we just need to keep on track of that so we make sure that we have all our.
Hey, can I just backtrack 1 minute? Sorry, about the department head meetings. The only question I had, and to keep in mind, and this came from Mike Olson, is we meet Mondays, and he has fire department meetings every second Monday. So he just asked if we do schedule him, if we could keep in mind him or the chief, because sometimes it makes it hard if they're both due on a second Monday and they're supposed to be at the fire station. So I just told him I would mention that to you guys,
They
so.
are training this evening, so.
Exactly. So he said, just please remember that. So I told him I would ask.
Yeah, we might, good time to bring that up.
Yes, it is.
So we had changed meeting times to 6 PM for a couple of reasons. One of them being former Selectman Lavasher leaves for work at 4. He works 5 to 1 at the job sites he works at. So he wanted to make the evenings as early as possible. Another reason was a lot of the local select boards meet at 6 o'clock, Spencer, Brookfield, et cetera, et cetera. And it makes it easy for the department heads, such as Jake. He came in this evening, from home because it was well after his shift. So we just wanted to make the meetings earlier for the department heads' convenience. So
Yeah, I think it was mostly for Andy, which I agree with. He starts early. I've got the opposite problem, Andy. My work runs up till 6 o'clock at night. So for me, 6 o'clock was a challenge because I'm working still, right? So it really depends on the composition of the board and the individual factors for the various members. I went along with it, and I think being done a little bit earlier is not a bad thing necessarily, but it just creates challenges for people that work all day long to potentially get here. And if I was in Boston, that's why I had to call in a few times,
a lot of this don't work.
Yeah, but that's the board now, Andy, and that's what we got to consider.
So-
But moving forward, it may not always be that easy, Andy, that's
What
all.
would be the pleasure?
For me, I like the 6.
What is your,
Could we meet in the middle, 6:30? Does that 30-minute window give you anything or no?
Not
So it's
really,
either
Amber.
7 or 6.
It doesn't really matter, yeah, the half.
Being able to,
I mean, yes, that'll make it a lot easier. And see, I get caught in the city sometimes, and it's a 2.5 hour ride to get home. So like, even if I knew, I couldn't maybe get here sometimes, so.
If we did a 7 and we had, say, department heads or people who have been here all day, could we arrange the agenda that we get them in here first and like out before other business? So that's.
We generally try to do that
just stick to
anyways,
that,
yeah.
Try to make sure
one
they're
of the
not.
changes that we made last year is all appointments are at the beginning of the meeting
Just
time.
get them in and out
I
of here.
copied that from Spencer. We used to do like poll hearings. We do one at 7:15, 7:45, 8:15, 8:45, and it's all the same polls, the same people. Why don't we just do them all at the same time?
Yeah.
So looking at what our neighbors to the east do, they have every single hearing is at 6 PM when their meeting starts. So
we
they'll
just go
do
one at a time.
permits, they'll do poll hearings, they'll do alcohol permits, they'll do special permits, everything's at 6. And it's like, okay, you're quick, you, then you, then you, then you, and you just get right through them. And it's 6:15 and you've just had 7 hearings. So as far as who goes first, when everybody's here, yeah, you do the department heads that live the furthest away. That would be a no-brainer. But I mean, generally speaking, we'd have all the hearings start at 6 o'clock anyway. You can start a hearing late, you can't start it early. So if we had a 7:15 advertised hearing for an alcohol license, you can't start before that.
Yeah.
So you'd have to wait. But if they were all at 6 o'clock and you didn't start that hearing until 6:35, it wouldn't matter. You can start it late, you just can't start it early. So,
And I mean, it's never ideal, so whatever the time is whatever the time is. I think it's a little nicer for people, especially during the winter months, to be able to get out and get home before it gets to be 10 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night in the winter too.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So I'm not against it. I'm just pointing out the unique challenges it creates for different people, that's all.
all right, so what's our pleasure?
6 PM?
6 PM.
Do we need a motion or do we
Make
just?
a motion, we'll do it.
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we host the select board meetings at 6 PM on Monday evenings in the main meeting room moving forward.
I'll second that motion.
Would you like to add to that we will be meeting throughout the summer? Or would you like to have summer hours?
I think we got to look at summer hours, Andy, at least a little bit. I need a break a little once in a while, like 1 week during the summer that this isn't occurring, right? Just
All right,
because
if
I
we
need
can
it.
Get a schedule for next week's meeting, we can look at it and see which meetings we want to skip, you know, as
Let's
far as
stick
it
at
gets
6 o'clock
close
now and
to,
then.
I do know I will not be here on a Monday. I can call in. I just won't be present on the 28th of June. That I am gone out of the state. So. I
All
won't
right,
be
so we have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Through the chair, I won't be here on the 15th.
We won't have a,
Yeah, so we won't be able to record
we
that.
won't
right?
record that one.
I was gonna coach like Amber or someone on how to do it.
We'll see.
Yeah.
They're training this evening. That's my granddaughter. My granddaughter's pumping the fire truck. So if it breaks, hopefully it won't bill me directly. She is, we actually have some explorers. We have 2 or 3 explorers right now with the fire department. So up and coming. All right. For the KP Law discussion, should we schedule an executive session for next week to go over that? And I would like to invite the Board of Health members into that.
Yep.
And if we could set up with KP Law to have someone on the telephone, we'll go into executive session next door to go over those. Once again, I had asked last year that all contact with KP Law go through the chair so that we know what's going on.
Multiple years that's been a request,
And
Andy.
it has not happened. Looking at the bills, there's been a lot of stuff happening that didn't go through the chair that we're not aware of. We would like to be aware of that, so.
So that would be executive session. When will we do that? 6:30 next week? or-
Yeah, if we could schedule that for 6:30 next week, executive session with KP Law. It's got to be advertised, and the reason is litigation, discussions of litigation.
You mean advertise like in the paper?
No, on our minutes.
Minutes, okay.
It has to have an exact reason. We can't just go into executive session to go into executive session. It would be for the purpose of litigation. There's 8 or 10 separate reasons.
Something like that.
If you look, somebody had brought it up. I don't know if you had given it to us before. There are 8 reasons why you would go into executive session. They want to widen out Adams Road,
Yeah,
and they'll
Mike
do
came
it
in
at their
and talked
own,
about that road.
at
Yep.
their own expenses.
Yep.
But one of the issues is, they were saying that in order for us to grant an easement, it has to be done at town meeting.
Okay.
So that would be something that we'd have to put on the, a note for the fall annual, fall special town meeting to put on there to grant an easement for Adams Road so that they can do work. They want to widen it out at their own expense. They'll pound down through the ledge at their own expense. But what Mike had talked about was, you know, they're changing the grade, they're widening the road, engineering work, the easement, the base road material, retaining wall, guardrail.
So
All
just-
legal fees and expenses
Yep.
of the town of East Brookfield, they would take on all of that.
Yep.
But we can't just say, yeah, go ahead and.
No, we need to know what they're building and
Right, we
then,
need to have
Yep.
drawings and engineering work and find out exactly what we're gonna do,
Yep.
what they're gonna do with the drainage, how they're gonna,
Yep.
you know,
They know
Yep.
all,
what's that?
they know all
yeah.
They know all
what
that,
they need
but we
to
still have
do.
to have it all in writing before we allow them to do
We
it.
can't just make
They
it
know what
work
they're
for
doing.
it.
that. They know that they have to go.
Right.
Tilcon's, sophisticated firm. They know what they need to do and they could price this in the back of a napkin and be done with it pretty quick. So just a couple of quick things. So the letter's on the selectmen's letterhead and it's signed by the highway superintendent.
I never put highway, but I wanted you guys to have. it.
Okay, so I just picked up on that.
Yeah.
Same thing, Sharon, there's no addressee on the letter. It just says Tilcon, but then it says, Dear Mr. Wall. So I'd like to know, who are we sending it to? Is he the CEO? Is he? Like, who is he? Like, and who does this go to? Because to me, it's not a really fully
That's the
written
only
out letter.
name Mike gave to us.
I can contribute to this. For one, Paul is Ryan Wall.
Mr. Brian Wall?
Ryan Wall. I give his phone number for like. Also wanted to, Tilcon, I wanted to mention that just last week in the planning board meeting, we made a motion for me to contact Tilcon to ask them what their intent is with Adams Road and the asphalt plant itself. There's been ongoing erosion control issues, and we want to make sure that they address those, because I think, there's consumer concerns with American Industries as the baton to Tilcon, if they're gonna hold up their end of the deal, maintain these things that are in the site plan approval. So we mentioned a letter from the highway department. I mean, I'm obligated, to the planning board to contact them myself.
Mhm.
I mean, I can go back to the planning board and tell them that I'm not going to do that because of, whatever agreement, whatever letter is that, you guys have drafted up.
Well, we're drafting a letter asking for information from them. It's not, we're not authorizing them to do anything, we're not allowing them to do anything. We want to know exactly and precisely what they're planning on doing.
But I guess, when you get a response from that, would you mind forwarding that to the planning board?
Absolutely, we can.
No, and I think they should be involved, Andy, in
Oh,
anything we're
absolutely.
doing with them on this.
You'd
Absolutely.
have to look at it and see what they're proposing, as far as what their original agreement is, and make sure that they maintain all of that, so.
Do you have Ryan's title, what position?
He's not a CEO or anything, he's
I
just like.
know,
But is he like the regional man? To me, it's just not a letter without a name and a title.
Regional
who it's
manager,
going
site
to.
superintendent, project manager.
And it just says the site, but is it proposed roadway improvements? Like, what's the subject? Just to me, this is missing a few things as a basic letter. Like, the subject says Adams Road, but what? What are we trying to do here?
Holding up American's deal, what that was required by the planning board, that should be the subject. Are you gonna hold up?
Right, or compliance status or something.
We never required it.
We discussed it with them,
Yeah,
they wanted to see if they had any interest in doing it,
okay.
and they did, and they said they would do it. And then we ran into opposition from the board of selectmen and stuff, and, it never went any further than that. So now, this is basically inquiry to find out.
If they're still willing to.
Interest in doing this,
Okay.
or if they're gonna, they're not gonna go put on all this work.
If it wasn't a requirement.
Just to be
Yeah.
rejected. If they're gonna do it, they want, good faith, in their part, it's gonna go forward.
The question that we had asked last time Mike was in here and we were talking about this was exactly what are they proposing to do? Are they gonna widen it and make the whole road 24 feet wide or 20 feet wide or 28 feet wide? Are they gonna
They were looking for guidance.
do culverts? What was their
They don't
intent?
get all this stuff.
And I think, Mike,
They can only go so far, and the slope, they can't push it down too far because the slope's too high, too far up, and they got a detainment pond, so they wanna move it over, but it's never gonna be straight. But they wanna make it so that.
split the difference basically.
They don't want the trailer trucks to have to come down and take up 2 lanes to go around. They wanna be able to make it so the lanes are wide enough so the trucks can stay in their own lanes.
And I think if we were going to accept a public way and accept modifications to it, we wanted a plan as to what are you going to build and what's going to be there.
Just like any other subdivision.
Totally right, Mike.
Absolutely, they know that.
But the question that we had was, are they gonna cut into the ledge or are they gonna
All of that would
put
be on the
over
plan.
into the overhang more? Which way were they gonna try to go? What were they planning on doing? How far down were they going? What were they gonna do for,
I get all that.
Because it makes a difference which side of the road we go to for an easement, depending on what their plan is, right? So we want to know.
They're planning on going to the Route 9 side, the corner, they want to take the corner out, basically,
On 49, you mean, not Route 9.
on Adams Road, take the corner
the
out.
north side of Adams
Yeah,
Road?
at 49 though, not Route 9. Yeah, you said Route 9, that's.
No, he said the Route 9 side.
Oh, okay.
Instead of the Route 20 side. He's thinking globally, so.
I'm thinking specifically.
I didn't want to miss my brother's side or,
Yeah, I don't have the 7 generations of history he
We
does.
can,
so.
if we just clean this up and
Just fix like the subject and the addressee and that, I think we're open to working with them. You just got to tell us what you want to do so that we can accept it.
well, I'm not on it.
No, I know, but I'm making a general statement for everybody's benefit.
the addresses on Adams Road that we're discussing, because it's not the south side of
The parcel.
road, so it'd be, you know, from pole number or from address to address, so that we know exactly what we're talking
Do you
about.
have like a permit number or a site plan approval number or something?
Almost probably from the easement of 49. Because the easement of 40, it goes over the brook. And
Yeah,
the
it's-
easement ends for.
Was it 150 feet or 100 feet or whatever they had to do that was straight?
150 feet.
Yeah.
The state gave them an easement there at 49 within the state highway right away, and then we'd need to do it within the local roadway from there moving forward.
Yep. I can just forward you guys the information I do have.
I think that'd be helpful, Sharon, because then you could reference everything and what it's all
If you
tied
get
to.
information from him and cross-reference with Mike, make sure that that's what we're on board with.
And then we can review this with Mike next week and make sure it's good to go and send it out from there. How's that?
Violet had sent some of this information to Mike. So
It seems like he probably did, yeah.
if you can't get a hold of anyone from Tilcon, I know something that should have some of the early drafts of the plans from urban industry they want to do with the roadway. I mean, they wouldn't necessarily be obligated, right? They wouldn't be held to that, but
And so Berkeyum owns the land, American has the approval for like a ground lease or something, and then they're gonna lease it to Tilcon from there. Is that how they're doing it?
selling it.
They're gonna sell it, they're gonna flip it? So Berkeyum and American are selling the land and the development.
Berkey's just retaining the land. And Tilcon's just buying the operation, basically.
Okay. And the equipment and everything that's on the site. Okay.
I think Mike told us when he was in last time that the transfer takes place July 1st. That's when it's completely transferred over from American to Tilcon. That's what Mike said. That's why he wanted this letter to get out to them, to make sure
Okay.
that Tilcon was aware of what American originally wanted to do or was asking to do.
So that they're aware of it before they close, so that
That's
it's
what
not a
Mike said.
surprise when we come
He
back.
said he was positive it was July 1st, the transfer was taking place.
They are still held site plan approval that we grant.
What's not part of that?
One of them.
Okay.
But it's an operational benefit to make it safer and faster to process equipment out of there. So they're probably going to be interested in doing something, I would imagine, right?
Okay, so we just want to clean that up, and we're going to have Mike sign that just as a letter, or do we want to sign it ourselves?
Why don't we start with the highway
You
department?
can sign it
Yeah.
just because he's requesting information. He's not agreeing to anything. He's not giving them a
And then
contract.
we'll move it up along to us.
It's just that'd be quicker that way. He can get it done tomorrow, the next day, and get it off to him.
Well, yeah, as long as he's got all the, Sharon has all the information. Yeah, because we just said we're going to review it with Mike and make sure it's all done and send it out next Monday afterwards.
As long as we have that good for next year, okay. We have a letter here regarding a tax title taking. Did you see that?
Strike that.
It's 327 East Main Street. That is
Letter.
the, this one here from Nicole.
Good morning, Sharon. Okay, this one here.
Yep.
Right.
So this is 327 East Main Street. They had a foreclosure hearing on May 20th, and the paperwork is coming through so that we can take possession of it. And I would like, as soon as we take possession of it, to we have to inform the former interest holders by July 19th, 2026, of the town's decision to retain or sell the property.
Okay.
So I assume we would want to sell the property at a tax title.
At an auction. Which one is 327?
327 is the one next to the red farmhouse where you have frontage on Route 9 and on Pleasant Street.
It's behind that guardrail. Like,
The one way down in the hill that's been abandoned
Stairs
for a
go
long
through it.
period of time. Okay, I just want to make sure which one it was.
And neglected. It's not abandoned, it's neglected.
Okay.
But
Empty for a
that
long
is,
period of time.
an available piece of property that is, could be available for tax title.
Absolutely.
And then there was some others that she's working on, 342 Podunk, 290 East Main Street, and Podunk Road, map 13, lot 189. Those are the ones down the, Saco, I believe is the name of the contract that it was down there, that did the houses along Podunk Road.
So do we need to do anything, Andy?
There's 3 lots, where, what's the guy's name? Across from Bobby Allen, the dirt driveway that goes to the back where,
There's 3 lots there?
well, there's 1 lot directly beside that driveway. Then there's a 50-foot right-of-way to Magwood's property in the back. Then there's another lot, and then the blue house that Arthur Canoia built, and then the brown house. The other side of the brown house is actually a 4-acre triangle lot that is soft. We'll say it's a soft area, but it goes from the center of the culvert pipe almost up to the edge of that brown house in a triangle-shaped lot. So there's 3 lots that Saco Realty had that they haven't been doing anything on.
Kuchin said that lot would never be built on the one closest to the.
Whether or not it's ever built on, it's still property that's available, and you're not.
Mine didn't buy that with the rest of it.
No, Saco Realty had already had those, already portioned off, because he did all the ones on Draper, he did all the ones along Podunk, but he had 3 lots that were left. And, they, somehow or other, they built the blue split level and then the brown split level, but they never did the 2 further up, and then they never had a disposition on the other lot.
This only references 1 lot, Andy, not 3, by the way.
It's the next
Map
table.
13, lot 8.
It's a table. It should have been right under the.
Oh, so the agenda is off, but the table is correct?
I thought.
No,
It was lot.
everything that was off, except there's 1 lot in the middle of that they'd portioned off.
Magwood did that.
No, that was, Saco did that before he bought it. There's a separate deed in the middle. It's like kitty corner behind where Andy Lavasher's is. There's 1 lot in the middle of the,
I think Magwood did that because he came to me, because there's a 75-foot right of way that comes out right from my house.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And when he went to buy that land, he asked me if I was gonna have a problem. And I said, no. And he wanted use that for a driveway for a daughter. He wanted to put it back.
at some point, yeah.
But Andy, again, and including this table, there's not 3 lots on
Right.
Podunk Road. There's
Apparently,
only
she's
1.
only moving forward on 1.
Because she said it was, I think she's moving forward on this one because it was tabled, basically. She said in January 25, the town instructed us to refrain, and it has not been worked on since then. So she's asking what we want to do with it.
So the town, what ended up happening at that time, Amber, just for your awareness, is the state was also changing the laws, and the state actually put out direction
That's what it looks
not to move forward with tax title takings because there was some ambiguity as to what you do with the money. Now they've subsequently ruled that you have to take what they owe you and then give back whatever's left over. Sean?
While you're discussing real estate, there's something planning board related that's kind of relevant conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as long as we're good on this tax title stuff, I just want to make sure we're not talking about 3 lots on Podunk, we're talking about 1 based on.
Closest to the river.
Right, and there may be others, but there's only 1 that she's talking about for tax title. I don't know, lot 189, plot 78 is the only one on Podunk Road and the only one associated with Saco Realty on this list.
89?
Lot 189 is what it says.
Yeah.
Mike.
Hang on, I'm on the maps right now. Let me get to map 13.
So there may be 2 more lots there, but we need to figure out if they go into.
We may have already taken action on them. These might just be the ones that we didn't take action on yet.
Yep. Be clear on what we're doing.
Back to the first one, are we telling her, what was the decision on this? Because she was looking, once the board has intent for property, I will get letters out. Does she need an answer?
Yeah, I think we want to take tax title on everything we can and auction it and get the revenue back into the town, is my opinion on that.
I just want to make sure there was actual answer so that she
We need a
Okay,
motion
so
on that?
the one that we're questioning is plot number 78. It's actually only a 1.06 acre lot. The one next to the dirt driveway is lot number 70. Then there's a 50-foot right of way. Then there's another one, lot number 72. Lot number 74 is the one that has the blue house on it. So lot number 70 and 72, we had already done the tax title on that. I believe we may or may not already own that one, those two. So this is lot number 78. So this is the one, so this is the hayfield that I have. That's where Rios live. So there's the blue split level, the brown split level. This is the center line of the culvert. All that blue stuff is soft.
So Andy, are you in a butter to this?
Right here, no.
You're not in a butter? That
Nowhere
that
near.
hayfield isn't
It's not
yours?
mine.
You just rented, so. yeah.
No, I have a free lease
This is
on
the
it.
one.
I just rent the hay.
So it's
I
a
just want to make sure.
Got nothing to do with.
I just trying to help out and make sure you
No, I
get
have no,
or pull out
no
of this.
financial, so this is lot number 78 right here.
Okay.
So this would be the center line of the culvert up to that brown house that's there. So this is the blue house, the brown house.
Let's move forward with taking it and see what we get for
So,
it.
because these are the other two lots, the 70 and 72, those are actually buildable lots. So we've already taken action on that.
And those are- Unless you're the neighbor and you want to grab it, maybe that's about it.
Well, the thing about land is they're not making any more of it, so anywhere you can scoff a piece here and there, you.
So,
Plus, we need
so
to-
for the 327 East Main, we want to direct Nicole to move forward, right? And then this update is just.
Well, no, we have to determine, we have to meet with Nicole to determine whether or not we're gonna retain or sell. Because that's
327 East Main? or the other?
27 East Main, that's the one that we got the letter on that they had the hearing already.
Yep.
Okay, so if you look at the other, she's just giving us the status.
Correct, Andy, and we
Okay,
want to
so
meet with
the
her.
first one is not anything we need to do with because that's out of tax title. All the fees have been paid on that and the title has changed hands. The next one, that's the one we're talking about. They had the judgment on May 20th. Now we have till July 15th to notify.
July 19th.
For 327.
We have to notify whether or not we're going to retain it or not.
So are we going to meet with Nicole to discuss our intentions, or are we going to direct her to auction the property? I don't know that we need to meet with her again. Let's just direct her to do it.
We can do that. We just want to, she's giving us an update because we asked.
Well, it's two separate things, Andy. I think you're mixing them together. The way the agenda says is there's specific action for 327, and then there's an update on the other three. So do we need to direct Nicole to move forward with 327 and then talk to her more moving forward about the other three? We're mixing it
On the
together.
agenda, 327 East Main
Yep.
Street tax title foreclosure judgment issued,
Right.
right here.
Yep. And then in her email, she says, what do we want to do about it?
Right. So we have to decide what we're going to do about it. We need to talk to her to figure out
Why?
what the ramifications are.
I don't think we
Because we
do.
have
I don't think
to.
we do, Andy. Why do we need
have to?
to take action and sell the damn thing? Why do we need to
so
meet with her
we
again?
have to instruct her to go ahead with the.
Correct.
I don't think we meet with her because she said, once we decide what we want to do, she'll get the letters out. I don't think,
So I want to make a motion that we direct the
Nicole.
treasurer to take tax title action on 327 East Main Street. Get it done, get moving with it, right? Per her email.
On the
Yeah.
20th
And
of
on-
May, the tax title action was taken. We now possess the property. We have until July 15th to either
Okay,
say we're going to retain it or we're going to sell it.
so
That's the motion.
the motion,
okay,
okay.
okay.
So we want to make a motion to let the town treasurer know to send out letters that we're going to sell this property through auction.
Perfect.
Okay.
I
And
agree
then
with
she
that.
can take her
And
action
that property
from
is
there.
327 East Main Street.
Yes,
Correct.
Okay, so we have a motion
in a second.
and a second
Yep.
to have the treasurer move forward with the sale of 327 East Main Street, map 4.2, lot 188, plot 24.
And then the other three properties, thank you for
We
the.
have
We got to,
a motion and a second.
Yep.
Is there any further discussion? If
No.
not, all those in favor?
Aye. So that's three, there's nothing to sell the property.
All right, so just to update on everything that she's given us here as far as tax title, because we requested the
I was
information.
mixing that up. Yep.
So the first one, we took over that one is done because the property has changed hands. The next one is the one we just talked about. The other one is the plot 78, which is the softer of the three lots. We're at the point where we can file a motion for general default and request the court issue a foreclosure judgment. There's an order of conditions on the property. In order for the judgment to issue, Mass DEP is requiring the town to enter into a stipulation agreement that the order of conditions will survive the foreclosure judgment and remain on the property until it's satisfied. In January of 2025, the town instructed us to refrain from entering into stipulations since the time not work has been done in the case. Would you like to proceed with the stipulation and obtain the foreclosure judgment? Do you know what the order of conditions are on that lot?
No, that'd be,
All I know is the Kuchin said they couldn't build a house on it.
Right, I understand that, but there's order of conditions, and it would say no structure could be built on it.
no, it wouldn't. No,
You
it
know,
wouldn't.
what is the order?
Typically, the order would have long-term, so Concom, the order would have long-term maintenance obligations to clean out pipes and culverts and things like that. We should get a copy of the order that
Know
was.
that before we proceed with it.
No, we can have her, we can gather the information and sit down and talk to her and then make a decision.
So we need to get the order of conditions.
Right.
Okay.
My 2 cents is that, you know, if you should end up with that piece of property, you just put it in the conservation commission. That's 8 acres, right?
No,
No. 1 acre.
just 1 acre.
And ultimately, the order of conditions is recorded at the registry of deeds if they
Right.
did it properly, and it travels with the parcel anyway. So we just need to get that and then.
Right, and when we do the foreclosure, we'll stipulate that the DEP order of conditions remains.
Correct.
And when it goes into sale, there is an order of conditions on this piece of property.
That remains registry of deeds.
Right. So we want to see what that is before we proceed with this, because there is a cost to do the foreclosure.
So do we,
What does one have to do with the other, right? The order of conditions is just an obligation to maintain.
Right now, this
stuff under it.
second, January 2025, the town instructed the lawyers to refrain from entering into stipulation, and no work has been done on the case.
Okay.
When they work on the case, they bill us. There is
Yep.
a cost
Yep.
for us to foreclose on the property.
Understood that, Andy.
We want to look at the order of conditions to see if it's worth going forward with this, or if we just keep it in limbo where it's been since 1989.
Because of the cost of what?
We want to see what the order conditions are. We want to know what restrictions are on the lot
are you talking about in order to see if it's worth even,
to proceed.
because
I
you're
mean,
going to
if-
get anything back from it?
Right.
Is that what you're looking at?
Right.
Yeah.
It's one thing.
before we spend a ton of money and not get it back, we want to see what the
Yeah.
order conditions are. We
There's
just want
one
to
thing
see
to
what
get-
there is.
I agree with that 100%, Andy, to see what we're going to get back. But in the end of the day, we should be taking properties and not letting people get away with it because they're not paying their taxes on it. But the other part of it too, Amber, if that was contaminated,
Exactly.
we wouldn't want to take the contaminated property and then have
We
that
want
liability.
to know.
Yeah,
So are
exactly.
we asking Sharon to look at the deed, the registry of deeds and find out they have, okay.
Yeah,
They should have
the
it.
assessor or
The
the
assessor will do it. One less thing for you.
conservation or somebody should know what the order conditions are. And then the other one that we've been discussing is the 290 East Main Street. The record owner of this property is deceased on January 15th. We requested the court issued notice to all of its heirs on May 22nd. We provided the court with additional funds to cover the cost of issuing notice. We're currently waiting for the court to take action and issue notice to the heirs.
And that's the one over by the lake.
Yes.
That's the other one over by the lake that, the heirs and the ownership are in question.
So that one, and we need to figure out what we're doing with, because if we got people living in that and there's issues and stuff there, we don't
So
want.
these all go back to 2015. So these are all 11 years old that we're discussing. So,
Yeah, because we had asked Nicole to start looking at them and now she's going back and finishing up on stuff from before. So that's a good thing.
all right.
Oh, yeah, you're,
Yep.
sorry.
When we're speaking about real estate, High Rocks, as you guys know, the subdivision got started in 2005. Town still has a covenant on 3 of the lots. Copy the plan right here, I'd like to look at it, I think that's possible. One of them,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
right.
They have three, covered on 3 lots, right?
Yeah, right, so we're gonna cover on 3 lots. We have not been able to get in touch with Neil Jackson. Just ignoring us, essentially.
I thought we were moving forward with that.
Well, it changes.
Even,
Well, I knew there was some issues with paving, there was some issue with drainage, there was some issue with some of the planting, some of the retention ponds. I thought that some of those were addressed. There were some lots that were released.
yeah, I think the last block that was released,
Really kept through,
you've got three.
because they're down to final payment.
Right.
Some payment's been redone. The owners got together and all the owners decided they didn't want any tree plantings, so we took that off of it.
So tree plantings in the public right away, the planning board waived that requirement, basically?
But they haven't met all requirements yet, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we still have not accepted the road, we don't have the, okay.
Right, I mean, the issue is, to some extent, just a formality, like even with Pondview, we're trying to pressure the bond company to, get in on this, so we can finish these subdivisions. At least as far as High Rocks, these outstanding covenants, there is the potential for, the town to sell these lots, generate them. But by no means would that be the justification, but for us to be able to push the development forward, I think it was in November, we contacted Damian Brookfield, and he essentially directed us back towards the Jackson and said,
Did Damien previously represent the landowner?
yes.
Okay, that's why I just want to make sure. Okay.
We kind of got the impression that
Maybe it's not getting paid.
So for High Rocks or for High Rocks? Okay.
From the town's point of view, we, the planning board, holds covenant on 3 lots, so that lots, they're not buildable.
Yes, they are.
they're buildable lots.
No, they're not buildable because we won't sign off on a building permit because they have a covenant on it. But they are being taxed and the taxes are being paid on them. That's the first question. The second question is, are they still maintaining and plowing the road? We're not plowing the road yet, right?
It's iffy.
Well, we haven't accepted it.
No, it's iffy, they're plowing.
Right, but we haven't accepted it, so we haven't taken over
So these basically, we sold these 3 lots would be to finish the pavement on the road so that the town could accept the lot of the public road. So that the homeowners on the cul-de-sac could have the services of the town.
The issue with us taking the road, taking the lots and paving the road would have to be paved under our contract with prevailing wage and all the DOT and all the rest of that. I mean, it's astronomically expensive, which is why the planning board was trying to pressure him into doing it himself, because he can do it far less
But
expensive.
who cares about that, Andy? If the
Right, but
3 lots cover the cost, who cares? It's his loss, not the town's, right?
So
It
we
gets
would
it done.
have to take the lots, and then we'd have to auction them off, and then we would have to,
Use the money
Right.
for improvements.
at that point in time, how would we proceed? If we took the lots and we auctioned them off, let's say that process took 6 months, and then he no longer had the lot, so was he still liable for plowing the roads? I mean, it's just the nuts and bolts.
How it works, I would question
Yeah,
too. I've
nuts
never
and
been
bolts
through
of
that
that,
before.
I would like to explore before we, because we take the lots and then we're on the hook for plowing before we,
It's
pave the roads
private
and-
road at that.
Until we accept it, right? Yeah.
Right, so you could conceivably get somebody else
Yeah.
to tar it
We-
and then accept the road afterwards.
yeah, this isn't a road.
We couldn't sell the property and pay for it and get somebody else to do it outside of the bid. We'd have to follow the bid laws for that, Mike. We can't do that. Can't do it that way. We're taking over the work and doing it by the town. We have to do it in accordance with bid laws. If he wants to do it, have at it. Let him finish and we won't take the property, but
That's the point he's getting here, is that he's not doing this.
Yeah.
So you
It's
ask,
Going on and on and on and on.
totally agree. Yep.
are you asking for help with pressuring? Like,
To some
you
extent,
guys are at a dead end?
yes, absolutely, right. It's anytime we try to get in contact with them, I mean, even one of the residents there, Marty Leonard, has been in contact with the planning board numerous times. He's always intimated to us that, he's got, his number. And Jack said, he gets right back to everyone. And Mr. Leonard said, oh no, he called me, okay, response back from him. So it depends who you're talking to. Supposedly, according to Jackson, he's very responsive. The residents say otherwise. It's just, can we threaten, taking these lots to try and move the process forward and close up the subdivision? And would, since we're already discussing real estate,
I would,
Can I ask one question
Probably.
before we go any farther? Hold on a second, Andy. Is this something that we should be doing in an executive session because it involves potential litigation between the town and property owners? And we shouldn't be talking strategy on something that's recorded and put on the internet?
absolutely right.
only if we're gonna take the properties.
But we're
I
going
would-
through the whole options, like we
But I
shouldn't be
would-
doing this in a public meeting.
I
Andy.
would, I would like
It's
to
public
get,
policy, it's all in the statute.
right, I would like to get the input of Mark Violet on this. He's got the most experience, but I'm sure he's never taken a piece of property on a housing development. That seems to be fairly rare. The whole reason you hold the property in covenant is to make sure that all the work is done by the
That's why I'm
the
here.
subdivider
They don't
contractor.
have to put up the money, so
Right,
they're
but
not
I-
put a
I-
bond, this is what they use it for the bond.
Right, we would have to do a lot of legwork and investigation before we even figure out how in the world we would go about taking it. Because it's not tax title. We'd already established they're separate lots. They're already on the tax rolls. They're already paying tax as a buildable lot or as a lot. So I mean, we wouldn't be taking it for a tax title. We'd be taking it for another reason. That would be a whole nother investigation on how you.
Do we have
take it.
the legal ability to do it through the covenant?
This is all a signed contract. He signed onto the subdivision with all the conditions.
Yep.
The conditions are to finish it in a reasonable amount of time to the spec of the, of the control
Understand, Mike.
laws for the subdivisions and all that.
Yep.
So he knows he's aware that we can take the land, right, to finish the project. Now, this is in lieu of a bond.
Yep.
Or a personal money, is they put 3 lots up. All right?
Yeah.
So he knows the ramifications.
And I would just want the town's attorneys to help tell us exactly how we go through and do that. Yeah, that's all I'm saying, Mike, because whether he knows or not is his issue, not ours.
Came up with the figure of what it would cost to finish the project.
10 years ago too? No, recently? Oh, so it's relatively current then, Sean. Okay, that's
We
good.
made him up, because he wanted to get down to 2 lots, and we had to decide to keep it at 3 to cover
Gotcha.
the cost of repaving the road.
Gotcha.
But I'm sure that was not to, the specs of the state.
Do we want to add this to our KP law discussion next week?
We could bring it up when we're talking to them, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Is that
I just want to make sure we do it right, Sean. I'm fully in support of it. I
Really hadn't even said. I do with that.
now that we're out there, we should.
They wanted to make you aware of what was going
Or
on.
we go proceed, for the residents of High Rocks. That's not, obviously, you don't have an interest at all in it. It corresponds from them regularly.
Yeah, no, and I remember some of it from when I was on Concom, so I do have some of the history and the road conditions and whatnot.
Do you have any input on that right there?
That was
Before we put it on a fancy,
No, I don't think so. I think it's okay.
want to look at that, see if there's anything we should add or detract from that. That's for a presentation on the 14th.
Yep.
Our Boston Post Road Kane.
So hold on a second. Are we done with these guys, Andy? Do we need them? Is there anything else more?
Oh, no, we've got other stuff.
Okay, well, I didn't know, so I wanted to
The
make sure.
Boston Post Road Kane recipient,
Yep.
she is not interested in coming to the June 10th meeting. She would, I spoke to her daughter, Janice. This is probably something that she would want to do at her home.
Okay,
So I told Janice to have a discussion and find out when she would like to do it. Probably a Saturday or Sunday. Usually Peter Durant and Donnie Berthium like to be involved in the presentation. I've done one of them before. So we're waiting on Janice to get back with us and find out. I did speak with her on Monday at the festivities, so last Monday at the festivity. And I think she was here at the,
She was,
yeah, at the reception, trash meeting. So hopefully we can get that done.
Mhm.
The other thing was the Republic Service contract.
so that's the sign for 1 year, right, to keep everything moving until we
Well,
get everything
If you
straightened out?
recall, when they were here.
Yep.
And we had a discussion, they were adamant they didn't want to do a 1 year. But then at the meeting we had, they were ready to do a 1 year. So The 1 year, if you look at the contract, it only increases by 5,000 over the, having the 5-year. Is the contract here somewhere? Yeah, I got a Republic folder, but it's just the information.
I have the contract here if you need it.
Oh, you have it?
Well, I just brought it from last, I'd make sure I brought it with me.
I
Hold
don't.
on a second, there's a Republic folder here somewhere, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Payroll warrant, hold on a second, guys, I saw it earlier, just let me make sure I didn't
It's right there, the
mark
one,
it away.
you see it. That was what it was.
Oh,
I don't know if they have the contract there.
transfer.
Yeah, I don't have the contract. What's that?
Want to discuss it again
Yeah.
for the town meeting.
Oh, I thought they were gonna give us the contract.
Here it
Did you
is.
send one in the email or just the update
Just the
proposal?
update, that
You
was
just sent a proposal, I think, an updated proposal.
All right, so what we discussed the other night.
Yep.
Was the possibility of doing a 1 year with a 4-year option.
Yep,
So
Take it.
if we did a 5-year, it would be 169 for the first year, but if we only wanted to do a 1 year, it would be 176. But then the next year, he would drop that off the cost, so that the final 5-year.
ends up to be in the same total.
Yeah.
So that's their
So,
flexibility in terms
Instead
of,
of doing the 169 for the first year and go through the contract, if we did a 1 year and 1 year only, it'd be 176. But then if we do the 4-year extension off of that, they would drop that down to where it was.
What's important here is this price
Yep.
is not renting from them. This is us, I asked them this is
Yep.
us purchasing the bins outright from
Yep.
return earnings.
down the road.
If we wanted to, down the road here, if we
Yep.
want to rent from them, this price would have to be adjusted, he
Okay.
said, when we make that decision.
So this,
I've been in touch with my, company. I have another vendor that wants to come and talk with you guys. And waste management, and another guy personally, and he he's the chief negotiator for the whole area.
okay,
He'd love to come and talk to you guys. His suggestion is, in order to get another bidder or another vendor to come in, would have, take the option for 1 year.
Mhm.
By that, July 1st next year, another company could be, ready to come and take over.
So
we'd have to put it out to bid and make sure it's.
I would
apples
like
and
to
apples.
move forward with the 1 year.
I agree, Andy.
And
Should,
if we move forward with a contract, whether it be with Republic or Waste Management or Casella or whoever else it is, I would like that to be a 5-year contract at that time, so that
it
the
lines up.
contract for wind waste and the contract for the removal
Lines up.
would
That was
line up.
part of the reason why we wanted to do a year anyways, Andy, so I have no issue with
So
that.
if we can get a hold of them and see if we can get a contract for the 1 year, we'll move forward with that.
Do you want to make a motion tonight
On
to allow
July
the chair-
10th,
chairman
excuse me,
to
on June 10th, they're gonna bring 3 bins to the school.
Yep.
So that everybody walks into the annual town meeting will
Can see
walk past 35, 65, and 95, so that they'll actually see what's gonna be dropped
And
in front of
they
the
put
house.
weights in them too, he said, to kind of feel.
See what they're, and Burnett and the other haulers, they all use plastic containers too, so
All of
the,
them.
so
Everyone
the idea that we're gonna avoid plastic containers by not
But
going
it's
with
the
Republic,
different sizes.
They're all doing that.
that's what I mean. So I think initially there was some concern about the containers, and that was driving a lot of the, what are we gonna do? Everybody's doing it, so the
So-
container ship is gonna sail on us,
One of the
Andy.
questions I have is, Dan asked for the 1-year contract, if we wanted to, add, you know how they're gonna do the private roads for
Yep.
the extra fee? He wanted to know if we wanted to start that a month early. So have him do June instead of July. And Mike had asked, Mike Olson asked me if we
Right,
were
but
gonna do.
we're in June and we haven't signed a contract
Yeah,
yet.
so let's just start with the fiscal year
He
in
just had
July.
asked me to ask that.
Stick with that.
But I do want to make sure that the contract we sign for July 1st
Completely agree. Andy.
includes the private roads.
Yeah.
Having our highway department picking up trash 1 day a week is just,
Distracting.
it's,
It solved the purpose at the time, but it's
it
distracting.
got us out of a pinch, but it
Yep.
really is. Yeah.
I agree with that, Andy.
So if we could,
Did you make a motion yet?
So I made a motion that we would authorize the chairman, when available, to sign a contract with Republic Services for a 1-year period beginning July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027.
I will second that motion.
we have a motion and a second for a 1-year contract. If all those in favor, please say
Just
aye.
for discussion, Andy, that also includes the private roads and everything that you had requested, right? So just to make sure that's documented, and I vote aye as well.
Motion carries. We have some year-end transfers and then appointed positions, and then Mr. Jakewith, and we'll be out of here.
All righty?
Mr. Jakewith,
Rodents.
So
What do
we
have to?
still
How
have
many?
some activity on Podunk Road, right next to lot 78 that we're just looking at. Mr. Rio from the Rio Family Land Trust has pulled permits for the beavers that are on the south side of Podunk Road. They're going to be trapped out of there. There is a screen over the culvert on the Podunk Road. There is no beaver activity as far as building a dam right there. There is just debris from where they're moving stuff around. What's that?
Muskrats building the dam on the gate.
Right, but it is debris. I raked it out myself. It's just the debris. They're not actually building from the ground up. It's just grass and a couple of,
They're moving it there.
right. So it's not beavers that are building, big, huge branches and stuff. It's just debris that the highway department's been raking out of it.
Which culvert is this? Is this the one on Draper Road? So it's not the one on
We're
Podunk?
discussing the one on Podunk right now.
Okay, down at the bottom of the hill that comes down off of his property, right where the curve is, right? Is that what there's a small bridge there,
Nowhere-
plus or minus?
Nowhere near his property, but
Well, his
we're
property's
talking,
up
no, we're
behind it.
talking way down on my side of the road, almost to Adam.
Okay, that's what's got me screwed up there, but we're on three
We
different.
got muskrats and beavers. you know?
What I'm
So I'm not crazy then, Amber, is that?
What I'm discussing is, Mr. Rio has pulled a beaver removal permit
Okay,
for his property on the south side of Podunk Road.
okay.
And there is a screen over the culvert
On the north side or the south side?
on the south side of Podunk Road. There's a
So the
screen.
water flows from the south side to the north?
Yes.
Yes, and
Okay,
it goes through the property that's owned by Richard Magwood or the Magwood Family Land Trust, however they got that
okay.
arranged, okay?
Listen,
And then from there, it goes under Draper Road and proceeds on to Mr. Jaquith's property and flows from Mr. Jaquith's property to where it comes back out on Podunk Road at the culvert under Podunk Road.
okay.
Goes down into Quabog.
And it goes through the DCR land down into Quabog.
So
Okay,
Okay. I'm listening, I'm just trying to.
all right, so
Exactly what's going on here.
the highway department goes down to make sure that the screen is cleaned on Podunk.
Yep,
And that one is actually flowing fairly well and the water is not really inhibited. They're raking it. I raked it all 4 days of the 4-day weekend
okay.
for Memorial Day, just to make sure that didn't rise. But that one there, there's not really a whole lot at that screen. And there are beavers there.
So Andy, on Podunk Road, if we're driving from here, right, and we go across the bridge, we take a right and we're heading out Podunk, right? The culvert, the Draper Road's on the left, the culvert comes down and goes across the road there, is that the one?
We're not talking about that one yet. We're talking about the one way down past my house in the flats before you get to Adams Road.
So when you come down here.
So there's the one right there on the corner, here's Draper Road here.
See, this is the one we're gonna be talking around on Podunk Road.
Okay, that's the one I was
So
thinking about, okay.
the Great Brook comes across Podunk Road here.
Yep,
That's the one he's talking about. And
okay.
it continues on down here. That's the one
And
I'm
then it
talking
wraps
about.
around the
And
back.
it goes
and
over to
out.
Hall's house here, and then it
Okay.
comes down into the 7 Mile River and goes into Quaker.
Now, that's why I couldn't understand how it was flowing.
But
Now I do.
Yeah, it's an S shape.
That's, now I understand. And it-
There are
Thank you, Mike.
beavers on Mr. Rio's property, and
Okay,
he is trapping them out.
okay,
Then it goes on to Mr. Magwood's property.
yep.
Looking out from Draper from Magwood's, is there an active beaver operation in there?
Muskrats.
It's muskrats, it's
Three
not,
muskrats.
right, but it's not
They're
beaver.
building the dam every day. The highway department's down there every day, either cleaning the screen or they have to take the, the gate out.
So this is from
Backhoe with
Mr.
excavator.
Magwood's property
Okay, on Draper, okay,
on Draper. So
Okay.
the rodents in question are on Mr. Magwood's property
okay.
and,
Well, actually, they're not.
whose property are they on there?
The guy that just bought Dean's house. But they're building the dam on your property.
No, they're not building it on our property, they're building it in the road.
dam in the screen,
So,
on the culvert, the town.
There is debris that is deposited through the water flow on that screen.
Okay,
And I've cleaned it out and the highway department's cleaned it out.
okay,
There is a screen in place, if you recall, we replaced that culvert. on Draper.
Yeah,
Put
generally,
a
yeah.
concrete culvert in there because
Yep.
it was a galvanized that was.
Yeah, that was collapsing.
So that's all straightened out. We have a screen in place to
On the
hold
uphill
debris
side
back.
there,
Right.
okay.
Okay, so it's, the debris that's against it is not like a beaver type dam. It's not mud and,
They build a different kind of dam.
it's not the mud and the big
Different
sticks that a beaver would do. So
Okay.
this is vines and grasses and
It's
that
still
type
it's
of
functioning
debris.
as a dam,
Right,
it's just
it's
being
that
built
type of
differently.
debris.
When it dams the water up at Draper Road, it
So-
raises it all the way up to almost the level of Odom Road.
Okay,
So when I was down there.
downstream by his house. Okay,
Well, way down by the other, half a mile down from my
Comes up
house.
to Fieldy Hayes.
Well,
Okay.
the debris that was there on Friday, I raked it out maybe in 5 minutes. I went back Saturday morning and the water was up almost 6 inches.
okay,
So I spent 10 minutes raking it out just with a garden rake.
okay,
Sunday morning, it was up almost a foot. And I raked it out of there. And then Monday I went down there in the rainstorm and I'm like, yeah, you guys gonna have to pull that out. So they've been going down with their new wheeled excavator and they pop that screen out every morning and then lower it back down in.
okay,
So it's on their list of things to do. I think they're still going down a flag road, right? Flag road.
okay.
Yeah. So this is the
A
road-
hassle for the highway department right now to
but
deal with.
the rodents are on private property, which has
Okay.
been an ongoing issue on Flag Road and on Podunk Road and,
Yep.
on North Brookfield Road. And, what liability, action, or responsibilities the town have for rodent activity on private property?
Okay, is that the request, is to basically?
That's the ongoing issue
My
that's been there.
issue
So.
is, we've had this issue already on Podunk Road, at the other end, the third one I showed you.
Yep,
All right, because there's a right of way into a 4 acre that's owned by the town. We won't even get into that.
yep, different land ownership.
My issue is, I went down I called the Board of Health.
Yep.
To get a beaver removal permit.
Yep.
All right, and I told them that it was on town property.
Okay,
That culvert is owned by the town,
Okay.
and they're building the dam on the gate that's attached to the culvert.
at Podunk Road, the third location, the
Draper Road. No,
Draper, okay, at Draper Road, okay,
The new culvert you guys just put in,
okay.
it's got head
Head walls on it.
concrete head
Yep,
wall.
yep.
The gate's attached to the head walls.
Yep.
And the debris is on the gate.
Okay,
And the highway department's been coming down every day to
Yep.
take the grade out or clean the grade out,
Yep.
because that's how fast they back it up.
yep,
All right, so I come down to get it, and I said, you'd have to get permission from the town, because it's the town's. And he says, no, it's private property. Well,
So
it's attached to
the
the.
location of the traps, the location of the animals
okay.
is on private property.
But it's affecting the culvert
Oh, it's
that's on
affecting the
town.
culvert. It's
Okay.
affecting it on Flag Road. It's
So
affecting it on Podunk
what's
Road, but-
affecting it is almost irrelevant, because there could be any number of things
Right.
around town that affect our infrastructure, so.
But we can't get a permit to go onto private property and get the rodents off of private property.
I wouldn't disagree with that, Andy. I would think that would be
That's
impossible.
what
for
we've
us.
been doing all
Traps,
along.
When they set a trap
Yep,
for the beavers,
Yep.
they set it on the dam. And then they shoot the beaver on the dam.
well, then they're not trapping in accordance with their permit, because they're not on the property that they've got a permit to trap on. So that's a violation of the permit
So
potentially,
why,
right?
why should we, as homeowners,
Yep.
pay to get it trapped on public property?
I'm not certain that we're saying the same thing. I'm saying that if your permitted guy that's supposed to be trapping and killing them on private property is doing it on public,
No, they do it where the permit is taken, by whom the permit is taken.
I guess there's history here that I just don't understand, right? There's a
Well,
lot going on here.
This has been
that I don't
going on
understand.
since '98.
That's the law.
Right.
It is. It's
Okay.
wrong, but it's the law.
Okay,
So
I'd
since,
have to look into it. I'm not an expert on
But all
beavers.
so Kucha, whatchamacallit's, I called Cooch. And Cooch said he'd have to get, I could actually call whatchamacallit's.
So what ultimately do you want to have happen here? What's
I want to
the,
get rid of the whatchamacallit's, the muskrats.
okay,
But if I take out a permit on private property, it's $105 every time I do it.
okay,
I don't think I should do it, because the thing is on itself is being caused by the grade, because they have the whatchamacallit's, they have the ability to pile the stuff up against the grade.
So typically with grates like that, I've seen them like a cattle catcher on a train so that the debris, so maybe they didn't put the best gate in the first
Well, they
place.
just did something to catch debris. They weren't really,
Because typically when you got an issue like that, you'll put like a cattle guard on it and then the debris rides up and there's a way for it to go over
we
or
just
under
did
it.
it to catch the big stuff from going through.
So is there something that we should do to make the gate better that maybe mitigates some of the issue that Mike's talking about, which we could do?
This is an emergency audit to get rid of the muskrats, because they keep damming it up and the water keeps going up, just like you just said.
Understood, but if you don't fix the core problem, I don't want to go on with it forever.
We're trying to deal with the immediate problem. Then we can think about doing it different.
I don't know that I have enough information to do anything other than what's going on now, because I don't think we can pay the trap on somebody else's land.
We're not asking you to pay the trap.
Okay, what are you asking
He's
for?
asking to allow trapping on the Magwood property with a, saying that it's town property. The town owns a 30-foot right-of-way, which is Draper Road.
Any way you
And
look at
the
it.
culvert we have is on town property. But a foot off the culvert is not our property, it's private property. So where the traps are gonna be set is not gonna be on public property.
So we can't sign off on doing something on someone's land that we don't own.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not Magwood's land.
But it's not, if it's not ours either, we still can't sign off
But
on
it's
it.
the same.
Four properties that intersect at that
Okay.
culvert. The guy that bought Dean's house.
Whoever they are, Mike, it's,
I know.
yeah, whatever, it doesn't really
The
matter.
guy that bought the 120 acres for Fisher's house.
Yep.
I own property on one corner, and then I own a small little property on the other corner.
But you should be able to show where the pipe is, where the head wall is, and whose land it's on.
All right, let's really get into this.
Yep.
You put that culvert in,
Yep.
that culvert, it goes onto our private property.
Okay,
It's not contained on the 19-foot, whatchamacallit easement
Okay.
over there.
that's another reason why we shouldn't be building
Take it
stuff
out.
on behalf of the town.
Take it out. I want the culvert out.
Send us a notice then.
Property, get it out.
Send us a notice. That's what we gotta do. If it's not on our property, we'll do
No,
it.
it's, all I want you to do is to, whatchamacallit, take a permit out. Take a permit out to trap the muskrats. That's
I
all
don't
I'm
know,
asking.
Mike, and I'm not trying to argue with you, I don't know that we can take a permit out on somebody's land that we don't own. I just don't know how we go about getting a permit for something we don't own.
It's the exact location of where the traps are and where you have to access the traps from.
Well, access
So
is
when
one
we were
thing, the
talking
location
about
of the traps is
ones that
another.
were on North Brookfield Road, remember it was a Goldstein property?
I've
But
heard
you had
the
to
name
access it through,
Yep.
what's his name? He was a moderator at one time.
I know, we talked.
Yep. So what do we do in that
and
instance,
access
Andy?
across his property.
What do we do in that instance?
Okay, so if he has a permit to trap on East Brookfield property,
Yep.
it is on our right of way and our right of way only. If he's off into the water on either side, it's not our property.
Okay. So does he need a permit to be on 3 pieces of property, one on either
We
side?
asked the
in town
Board of
road?
Health to waive beaver trapping permits for any beaver trapping, not anything to do with Draper Road, but any beaver trapping that interferes with a culvert or a
Municipal
road.
drainage.
So now you're talking the guy on Flag Road, whenever he's trapping beavers.
Yep.
Because it's affecting the culvert under Flag Road. Mr. Rio, when he's trapping beavers because it's affecting Podunk Road and
It's
the road
helping,
bed.
it's helping those
Right.
particular conditions.
But that's what
right?
I'm saying. Rather than just saying this one time and one time only.
Yep.
Do we waive the fee for beaver trapping for any beavers or muskrats or raccoons or
That are impacting municipal
that are
drainage.
impacting the culverts, bridges, or road beds? Because at some point in time, like down on Cove Street, we had the beavers that were affecting the railroad bed and the road bed, but it had nothing to do with drainage. So I mean, you know, at what point in time do you say everybody pulls a permit or nobody pulls a permit?
It's the permit that's attached to your property
Yep.
that's causing flooding in that whole valley.
So if we got rid of the permit, then what would be, what?
No, just hear me out.
Yep.
It's flooding that whole valley. It
Okay.
could affect even to the point of going up over Podunk Road.
Okay.
All right, that's supposed to be my responsibility to prevent that whole thing from flooding because the beavers are doing that. And it's not affecting only my own property, it's affecting whatchamacallit's Rio's property, it's affecting his hay fields, it's affecting everything.
I'm not saying that it should be your responsibility. My concern is signing a permit for land that we don't own. And if we don't own it, we can't do that. But does it mean we can't do something else? No, I mean, I'd be willing to help out, Mike, but we can't go sign a permit for land we don't own. I don't know how you do that.
It's your culvert that's causing, the gate on that culvert that's causing the problem.
So if we remove the gate and the culvert,
Dam it up there without that.
they could dam it and run over the road like we've had in other locations.
Well, that's why they put the screen in there. Yeah.
So
It's
do
a
we,
48-inch, it's a 48-inch culvert. They're
so
not
do
gonna
we
dam it
make
up.
two improvements? Do we fix the grate so you put the right grade on? Because you never should put a flat grade on like that. That causes flooding
Okay,
problems, right?
Then we would be putting the culvert or the grading and the angled grading and everything onto Mr. Magwood's property.
So we'd have to get an easement to do that, to do it properly. And just because we got to go through steps to do it
Right,
properly
but that's
doesn't
what I'm
mean we
saying.
shouldn't
It's
do
a
that either.
multifaceted,
Well,
do you just pull the grate out? And let the debris flow through?
and then you end up dealing with a clogged pipe. Is that the best solution either?
If
I don't think
that's-
you do something arbitrary like that. If we've created the situation, then let's fix it the proper way. Pulling the grate and just moving the problem into the pipe that's then more costly and harder to resolve, to me, isn't a great solution either.
So right now, we're going down every day and cleaning the culvert.
So like
Okay?
you just said, there's two
Great.
issues. One is
Right.
addressing that,
Yep.
and then trying to address what you're talking about with the Board of Health, right? The permit. That's what we're addressing here. 'Cause
I
that's why
think so, Amber. That's the way, what I've
So-
taken
Making
away
sure I
from it.
understand there's two
I
issues.
think so,
Do
Amber.
we
yeah.
ask the Board of Health to waive all permit fees
Yep.
where the activity affects the drainage for a road or a municipal roadbed? So that means that the permits for North Brookfield Road on the Goldstein property
Yep.
would be
If the future, if they ever had to come
Right.
back and do it, right?
On
Would be
Flag
retroactive.
Road.
Yep.
on Podunk Road,
Yep.
on the other side of Podunk Road, and on Draper, because it's affecting drainage and it's affecting the culverts and it's affecting the roadbed.
Yep.
Would we ask the Board of Health to waive those fees?
I think that's reasonable.
Or do you-
I don't think that's unreasonable at all.
Does
So
that
that
fix
we're
your
not-
issue? By waiving the fee?
It allows us to be able to.
I just want to make sure that's addressing what you're,
I'm not whatchamacallits. We're already paying a fee to trap these beavers. Even we have no control, we can't go within 100, but even if the land goes across our property,
Yep.
we have no rights to be in there. We can't alter it, we can't do anything within 100 feet of wetlands, we can't trap the beavers, we can't do anything.
Yep.
Except to pay a trapper to come
and
in,
do it.
trap the beaver and shoot him on the spot. Well,
Yeah.
we used to shoot it by hand. So. in
That's
town-
a sale. That is what it is at this point.
So
for
by
that.
waiving the fee, that allows him to still pull the permit, and the town is not, we're not saying we're going on people's private property. Is that my understanding here?
We're not applying for a permit on land we don't own,
Correct.
which was my
So
concern
if we
about
waive the
that.
fee, he gets to apply for this permit, but doesn't have to pay for it.
But then I guess the question is who applies for the permit on
That's what
Magwood's property?
I'm asking, like,
Yeah.
It's not Magwood's property, I just told you, it's the Dean, myself is one little two.
So there's a new landowner there, basically. It's not Magwood anymore, but there's,
well,
They all come in at a 45-degree angle like this here.
okay.
So there's four of us, I own two of them, and the other two are owned by Chalupka out of Oxford, owns on 20 acres, and it's whatchamacallits, and it's, me on two sides, and it's whoever bought Dean's property.
So you can apply for the permits to do the trapping and work on your land.
I was just trying to do this to help everybody out,
Yep.
that's all. We used to all work together.
We just need to be careful about signing up to do something on land we don't own, Mike. It's not that
So I'm not
that's
Years
why I'm
asking.
ago
asking, by
anymore.
waiving the
Yeah.
fee, we're not signing. They're still responsible to.
get a permit for private
That's why I'm
property.
making sure what you were concerned about.
Yep. That's my bigger concern is signing to do something like we've had people digging in the lake without permits and it's not their land and there's all kinds of other things going on. So there's a couple of different questions there in my mind as to what we
There's
should
a
be
lot.
doing.
So the property that's in conservation even on the other side of Draper Road and between Draper Road and 7 Mile River is owned by the state of Massachusetts. We pulled 22 beavers out of that.
And they gave you permission to do it, right?
They told us we could do whatever we needed to do. They
Okay.
gave permission to Donna at what's Bertham's.
Okay.
We could do whatever we needed to do to get rid of them.
Okay.
All right, so I had them trapped.
Yep.
Who's paying for it?
It's not our land, so it's not the
I
town.
understand that.
Yeah.
But who's paying for it? Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not, I mean, again, we've got responsibility
Now
for
we're
our
fighting-
land.
We're trying to fight to get money for the trapper.
Yep.
The whatchamacallits to pay for the removal of those 22 beavers.
The state.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can't speak to what the state told you and who to pay for it. I'm only concerned about what we own and what we can do, Mike.
Told you to get under it, that we get into.
So are we thinking about making a motion to waive the fee? Or is this just a discussion?
At this point, it's a discussion. We're gonna figure out what we're gonna do. That my suggestion would be, if we ask the Board of Health, would that be the appropriate action to take? Ask the Board of Health to waive the beaver trapping fees for any, not just for Mr.
Yep.
Jakewith, not just for
Totally agree.
Modoc Road.
Yep.
Anytime that the beaver trapping would alleviate issues with drainage on public roads or interference with the roadbed on public roads. So if it's flooding your back 40,
It is what it is.
it is what it is. But if it's backing up on Podunk Road or North Brookfield Road or Flag Road or
Undermining the roads or whatever. Yep.
now we could at least assist the landowners by waiving the fee.
Yep.
But we'd have to make sure that it's only for that particular piece of property and not for every single piece. Because, I mean, you have extensive holdings throughout town. We don't want to give you a tree property, a beaver.
We want to be fair to everybody and not pick out one person or another to be
I think
treat
you have to
differently.
go up there and shoot them. Not cost anybody any money.
All right,
It's
so
not worth 5 years in prison. and
No, it isn't.
$10,000 fine.
It isn't, Mike.
May I remind
we-
you that we are being recorded?
are we gonna ask the Board of Health to come in or put them on the agenda to ask us, or what are we gonna do?
Well,
Good call.
is that what we want to do? If that's what we want to do, I will
think
give,
that's-
I'll give them a call tomorrow and say, this is what we did and here's our minutes, and look it up on YouTube. In 3.5 weeks when we get it published, and you can see what action we took. So,
And I think when Mike comes in next week, Mike Olson, we want to talk to him about what can we do to fix the grate, because that's something that's pretty standard to
So-
put that on there.
when I went down for the first time to rake that grate out, I thought it was a grate. It's not. It's a piece of hog wire from, yeah.
It's re-rod with
It's,
wire attached.
it's,
It's not going to survive.
it's not conducive to raking. I have raked out,
When they get the stuff on it, they can't lift it out. They have to get a backhoe or an excavator down there to lift.
There's very specific ones that are made just for that
If you want to
purpose.
know that, you call Mass Wetland. They will give you a whole thing of how to.
I have raked out the ones where it's a grate, where you actually can just use a garden rake and rake it up
And
through.
it's
it.
inclined too,
Right.
so that it builds up
And
and then it drains.
yeah,
and
it's
got a
easier to
flat
pull out.
part
So
on
are
it.
you good, Bob, with him contacting the Board of Health? I think that's a good idea.
Okay, you want to make that as a motion?
Sure.
Moved.
I'll make a motion for you to contact Board of Health regarding waiving beaver permit fees for impact to municipal roads or road beds.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Now, it's not on my property. The muskrat hut's not on my property. It's on Dean's old house property. The people that just moved in a month ago.
Mike, you're gonna have to introduce yourself.
They have to pull the permit.
It's on their land, they do. We can't do it for them.
Maybe you need to go give them a discussion on beaver permitting and trapping.
I had to pull the permit for the state on their property.
Yeah.
Good way to meet your neighbor, Mike. Welcome. This is the beaver issue.
What out of here. Because technically, he has to hire the trapper too,
Yeah.
and then he has to pay the trapper.
All right, let us discuss year-end transfers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Welcome. Thanks, Mike.
We'll see you again.
Sure you will.
All right, so last week we signed off on some year-end transfers, right?
Yep.
We looked at vocational tuition and vocational transportation as
The sources?
the source for the municipal properties fuel.
Yep.
And come to find out, there isn't enough left in municipal transportation because there was another bill due in.
Okay.
Did Donna give us a source for that?
I thought it was in her email, wasn't it, if I read that correctly earlier?
Should be, keep going, you got one of
This one right here?
I thought she had something in there to use for it.
these.
Yep, she did.
Be right back, excuse me for a sec.
Yeah, in transportation, it isn't enough money left over,
Yep.
right?
This one.
That's what her email said.
Okay, so what is the source?
Oh, that we can pull from?
Right,
Let's see, did she write it down here?
there.
Expenditure budget, if it's not gonna help us, okay.
Do you have a year-end transfer for what you needed?
Something's in there for. Certified mailings, Harper's and Stonebridge Press. I would have had enough.
Okay, so all three of these, we need to have
Source, right?
a source, and it has to be signed by Donna before we're supposed to take action on it.
She's not here either, the doors are all locked.
Gone.
Show you guys,
Right,
so she didn't.
Give you a source.
okay.
And we could still do this, Sandy, we still have time to do this, right?
We can do it, but the issue is, the one for the fuel and the one for the work to be done at the
alarms.
the alarm for the municipal building maintenance. Yep.
She's okay with that.
And for the electricity. Yep. We signed them to be used, the source was going to be the Veterans Administration, the Veterans Agent,
Oh, the fuel one, right?
the Veterans Agent.
She was okay with the fire system one, it was just the
Right,
fuel
but
one.
the Finance Committee didn't sign them.
Oh, they
So
didn't
they
sign that
can't
one.
use those funding yet. So we signed them,
Yeah,
but they didn't sign their end. And Donna didn't sign off on hers because nobody had asked her yet. So
Okay.
she needs to see all of these and sign them, and then we can take action on them, and then finance can do it. So we still have time to do it, but we need to make sure that we have Donna's approval to make sure that where we're pulling it from.
Okay,
Because last week, when we wanted to pull 6,000 out of vocational school tuition and 6,000 for vocational school transport, we don't have the money in transport. My question is, how much is left in vocational school tuition? Because the 58,000 that was left in that, do we still have another payment to Tantascwa? So Dawn is gonna know,
You're all set.
but Dawn is still gonna give it her blessing because she's the one that has to account for all of that. We get 2 bills a year from Tantascwa.
I got two, they pay two.
Right, so then we may be all set, and we may have a bunch left in tuition, so that we can pay all of these out of tuition, if Donna agrees with those
So do you want me
numbers.
to, yeah, those like that, show them to her on
Rich.
Thursday?
Prepare that, ask her if that's a viable source,
Okay,
and then she can,
she says yes.
she says yes, then we can do it next week,
Monday.
and then FinCom can do the one for the work that is being done down at the municipal, down at the highway barn, because finance didn't sign off on it.
And that's all tied to the fiscal year, not to town meeting or budgets or anything, Andy, so
Doing
we're
an
okay.
end of year transfer is not doing, okay?
Yep.
Now, on to the last thing that we have is the appointments. As you recall, we did a policy that we would do all appointments in the month before the end of the fiscal year, because all appointments run June 1st to
July 1st.
July 1st to June 30th.
Yep.
So here is the ones that are due. Oh, excuse me. Oh, God, excuse me. So that would be myself for ADA coordinator, Paul Cowden for Animal Control Officer, Jesse Barad for Assistant, Michelle Blood for Bandstand, Heather Gablaski for Bandstand, James Joyce for Bandstand, Amanda Lambert for Bandstand, Dan Lambert for Bandstand. Would anyone like to make a motion?
May I ask, why are we approving the 7th, 2027?
Because these are appointed positions as of July 1st, 2026.
So every year,
Yes, these are all one-year appointments.
they're only 1 year, okay.
So it starts July 1 and then it ends June 30th of
So
27.
these are the ones that we're doing.
The 3-year ones, we'd only do the ones that expire when we get to that point.
Right, when we get to that point. I'm just gonna take them a little at a time so we didn't have a ton of them. Or do you want to do the whole page?
Yeah, do it by the page, Andy.
Yeah.
All right, so Mark Carpentier, Board of Appeals Associate Member, Larry Gordon, Board of Appeals, Zoning Board of Appeals Regular Member, Sean, is it Sean or Sean?
Sean,
Sean Kowalczyk.
you did it, you're good.
CMRPC Alternate, Dan Hazen, Conservation Commission, Robert Button, Keeper of the Gate Assistant. We have an opening on that one. Do we want to appoint somebody?
Mike pretty much handles it. I talked to Mike about it. If anything, maybe we grab somebody, the Lake Association, but I wouldn't worry about it, Andy. For right now, I don't have a name to use. I mean, we could certainly put Amber in there, but I don't know that we need to just to have her on the list. I'd rather have somebody that maybe had some like involvement in it, potentially.
Keeper of a gate, yeah, I don't know which gate I'm keeping, but.
Yeah. You have a key to the little thing on Lake Lashmore you want to turn the
And whenever it rains, you deliberately flood anybody downstairs, all kinds of like
Maybe you
specific.
do want to get on that.
I'm only kidding with that.
Michael Olson, the Keeper of the Gate, Scott Connor, Custodian of Soldiers' Graves and Barrel Agent, Mike Estabrook, and Mike Olson is the Roadkill Disposal, Jennifer McNeely, Depot Square, Tim McNeely, Depot Square, Trish Durant as the 911 Coordinator, Chief Messier as Emergency Management Director, Tyler Tebow as Fence Viewer and Field Driver, Christine Buckley, Jen Dixon, Joe Dixon, James Joyce for Friends of Community.
I make a motion that we approve the annual appointments as noted on page 1 of the package in front of us.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sean Rivers, Friends of the Community, Holly Span, Friends of the Community, Jason Span, Friends of the Community, Mike Olson, Highway Superintendent. Amber Kowalczyk as Home Heating Assistance Officer.
Second.
Sounds good, let's do it.
It's, if they ask you, you send them to the senior center, they have the forms there.
I used to do them all the time, that was my background.
You'd actually be a good one for that, Amber, so I was only teasing in the second so quick, but you'd be good at that one.
Paul Valley, Inspector of Barns and Animals, Nelson Burlingame, Building Inspector Assistant.
I was like,
No,
wait, Nelson's still backing up? I didn't know that.
he's the assistant, yeah.
Okay.
John Kuchar, Zoning Enforcement and Building Inspector, Nicole Allen, Insurance Review, Robert Button, Insurance Review, Amber Kowalczyk.
Yep.
Insurance Review, Andrew Lynch, Insurance Review. Robinski,
Roger Babinski, yep.
he said he didn't want to do it, but we'll nominate him anyway. He didn't get sworn in last time.
I think he's trying to keep a little separation there with the Lake Association and the town committee.
Lake Lashway 200th Anniversary Celebration. If he does not get sworn in, then he's not a member. Nancy Field, 200th Anniversary. Sue Johnson, 200th Anniversary. Patty and Peter O'Neill's 200th Anniversary. Sandra Ringart and Diane Weiss, 200th Anniversary. Tyler Tebow, Measure of Wood, Bark, and Lumber. Heather Gablaski, James Joyce, Amanda Lambert, and Heather Messier, Memorial Day Committee. Mike Olson, Law Superintendent. Amber,
So hold on just a second before we go skip past that one. The municipal right to know coordinator, doesn't that deal with like material safety data sheets and hazardous waste management and things like that, Andy? Should we appoint Mike to that position? Because either he or Jake would be the folks in town that'd be most likely to deal with some of that stuff. Right? Isn't that the right to know for explaining like what we're using for stuff in town?
I didn't think that was it. I thought that was something else. I thought that was as far as your rights.
I don't think so.
We'll have to-
My recollection is that's more on how to deal with certain
All right,
materials,
we
Andy.
will leave that one vacant for now till we get some,
Definition.
Sharon, in your spare time, could you see if there's anything on the state's website about right to know what exactly it is? All right, Open Space and Recreation Plan Committee, Amber, Danielle LaFlower, Peter O'Neill, Dominic Roelli, James Schwanek, and Jen Torregno. Parks and Recreation, Rayanne Barnes, Karen Barad, Sue Eldred.
Is Ray still doing that? Ray still doing it?
Yep. They have the meetings at her house, I believe.
Still, even though we're not supposed to be having meetings in
Any,
a private residence?
Any motion?
I guess I'd make a motion that we approve the page 2 annual appointments as discussed.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. If no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next page. Peter O'Neill, Parks and Recreation, Karen Barad, Playground Committee. She resigned, right?
Correct.
Okay. Scratch that one. Amber Kowalczyk, Daniela Flower, Peter O'Neill, Jen Torregno.
Trigiano.
Trigiano, okay. And Larry Gordon would no longer be an alternate. He would be a committee member. That makes it a committee of 5.
Yep. So moved, Andy.
James
keep going,
McNeely,
yeah.
Plumbing and Gas, James Bergeron, alternate Plumbing and Gas, Paul Cowden, Joseph Lazarick, Curtis Sampson, Paul Valley, Paul Majorowski.
Doug Blood, I don't think we can appoint as a police officer.
He's not a
because
police
not
officer, he's a
officer.
harbor master.
But it says police officer,
He's a
harbor master.
police officer in charge of the harbor master.
I don't think he can be a police officer, Andy, because he's not
That is the
post-certified.
chief's
So I
recommendation. We'll take that one off and ask the chief. Could you get a clarification from the chief on that, please, Sharon? Okay. Jesse Barad, part-time police officer, Patrick Clements, part-time police officer, Christopher Howell, part-time police officer, Frank Jolin, part-time police officer, Michael McGrain, part-time police officer, Matt Schlegel, part-time police officer, Nathan Simonelli, part-time police officer, Tyler St. Cyr, part-time police officer, James Ayotte, David Darren, Christopher Dionis, William Gregoire, William Merrier, Lee Churchy, Merrier, special police officers, and then Lee Churchy, Glenn D'Amato, and Dennis Minor as traffic constables.
not as police officers, because they're not.
Traffic
police officers.
constables,
Well, it
right.
says
It's
police
police
officer.
department, police traffic officer.
It's not police
Right.
officer.
Should be police traffic constable, so scratch the officer portion of it. Theodore Boulay, Quabog.
I want to check with the chief on that because I don't think we can do special officers either, Andy. If they're not post-certified, they're not police.
They're all post-certified.
These guys are, what do they do?
Absolutely.
Provide details and part-time shifts and stuff?
They do part-time and they do traffic constable and they do the events. They just, if they're part-time police officers, they have to do 2 8-hour shifts a month. But being a special police officer, they don't need to do the 2 8 hours.
But they're still in theory there
They
for
are
traffic
police
work.
officers, correct.
Yeah.
No, they can fill in as police officers, they can work as police officers, they can be called on as police officers. They're just not required to do the 2 8-hour shifts.
So Chief Gregoire still has his post-certification?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Chief Ayotte, he's retired chief from Hardwick, New Braintree. David Darren is a retired chief from Spencer.
Yep.
I believe Christopher Donius, he was the captain from Worcester State, I believe.
It just
And
that,
Bill Marrier is still a captain with, I believe, Assumption.
Yeah, it's the officer for traffic constables, because
The
Glenn,
traffic constables are not post-certified, they're not police officers, so they would be police traffic constables, they're not
and the same
officers.
thing with the harbor master, Doug, I don't believe is.
Absolutely, but it's still under the police. Because he was a traffic constable, they don't have him listed as traffic constable this year, so. All right,
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's acceptable under post, I'm okay with it, Andy. I just have those
they're not
questions.
police officers, they're
Yeah.
traffic constables.
So we're making the corrections to page
Correct.
3 that strikes them as
Yep.
being police officers.
Correct.
Okay.
Theodore Belay, Quabog Valley Business Assistance and Loan Program. Robert Button, Quinnebog Ticket Heritage Corridor. We have a vacancy for Sexton, and Chief Lazarick is the select sexual harassment officer.
So I make a motion that we approve page 3 of the 1-year annual appointments with the corrections as discussed, and the removal of Karen Berard as she resigned.
Clarification, traffic constable, that's all it's gonna say, not police traffic constable.
So the first correction would be to strike Karen Barad from the Playground Committee. The second correction would be to remove the word alternate from Larry Gordon on Playground Committee. Blood Douglas would be Police Harbor Master. Churchy
Again, Andy, why are we
Minor
calling
would be
him a police
police.
if he's not a cop? Andy?
It's under the police department.
But that's not, we're appointing him to be the harbor master, not to be the police harbor master.
Well, the harbor master is under police.
But why do we have to say something that isn't correct? We'll appoint him as the harbor master and he could be under anybody. Same thing with the traffic constables.
So
They're
you
not
want
police.
to strike police officer and just make traffic constable, and that's it.
A traffic constable for those 3 and the same for Doug because he's not anymore, is my understanding.
So we want to confer that with the chief, just to make sure. I know is what we've done in the past, it's just this is the first time we've done this.
I think that's what it is, Andy. It's the first time with the new titles and requirements. I
All
think
right,
you're right.
so we have a motion
Yes, I'll second
with
that.
corrections. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. We have a vacancy in sexual harassment officer. I thought Chief left. Is that just for the police department?
Doesn't say it. It just says a harassment officer. I think we used to have Deb Morgan was also, I think it was the 2 of them together, Andy, at one point.
Right. Mike Siri as solid waste agent, Mark Carpentier as assistant. Do we want to make the motion for KP Law for town council, or do you wait till after the
Town
annual
meeting.
town meeting?
I think we do the town meeting, Andy, on that one.
Well, they authorize us at town meeting, but then after that, we have to wait till after June 10th for
I
that
think
one.
so.
Okay, could you make a note of that, please?
I'm sorry, what?
KP Law, we can't appoint them until after the town meeting because we have to be authorized by an action of the town meeting. Now, let's skip over the Toys for Joy Committee. We'll get back to that, okay?
Yeah.
Scott Connor, Veterans Agent, Jacob Allard, Water Superintendent, Scott Mansfield, Wire Inspector, Michael Jakewith, Assistant Wire Inspector.
Ed Beal.
No. Ed Beal's good through 28. John Kuchar's good through 28.
It's the other 3 in green that we have to do that are up this year, Andy.
Yeah, so Thomas Flavo, Conservation Commission, Jonathan Reeser, Conservation Commission,
That's it.
Diane Moser, Council on Aging, Judy Shute, Council on Aging,
Hold on, you missed Audrey Parsons too? Oh, no, but she's not up.
28.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, Andy, I'm trying to follow the coloring now. I
Edward
understand.
Spader, Council on Aging, Mark Carpentier, Finance Committee,
Dave Messier.
David Messier, Fire Chief, Heather Goblaski, Historical Commission, Amanda Lambert, Historical Commission, and Christine Lavin, Historical Commission.
So page 4, I would make a motion that we approve with the exception of KP Law as written
And Toys for Joy at this time.
and Toys for Joy at this time. Yep.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Paul Loss, Council on Aging. Mickey Forget, Council on Aging. And Vicky Zaring, Cultural Council. I'm sorry, Mickey Forger Cultural Council and Vicky Zering Cultural Council.
Make a motion that we approve the appointments for 1 year as noted on page 5, I guess, of the package.
I'll second that.
For 1 year?
Those are 3 years.
Those are-
3 years, I'm sorry, yes, for 3 years for the ones on page 5.
Okay,
Actually, I should revise my motion from page 4. It should say for either 1 or 3 years as noted on page 4, because I didn't.
Some of them are 1 year.
before.
Yep.
noted. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Now let's bring up Toys for Joy. Toys for Joy, the 3 members are not East Brookfield residents. We have a large room in there filled with stuff, toys from years past. What is our pleasure on Toys for Joy? It was originally the East Brookfield Toys for Joy. It is now Toys for Joy. I don't know if they specify which town it's from, but the 3 members of that committee are not East Brookfield residents. You know,
You can appoint somebody who isn't a resident because it's an appointment, not an
I'm saying,
election.
not what I'm saying. It's just, you know, it's a 2-town Toys for Joy. Everybody on that committee is from another town. Do we want to?
What's our option otherwise? If we had an option, if we could keep going even with status quo and have something for kids around the holidays, to me, that's a positive thing.
I don't know what the participation in the program is anymore. I'm not sure. I'm not involved in it. I don't know.
I don't know either, Andy. I can't tell you.
Can we get a hold of anybody that's on that committee and find out what their plans are for the future, what they want to do, what they're going to
The
do?
one I know is Deb.
Yeah, all
Oh,
right.
you mean on Victor's?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that would be one of them.
Any of the 3, just find out what's happening, what's going on.
And in theory, if there was somebody from East Brookfield that wanted to participate, we could nominate them too. We just don't have anybody at this point in time.
Not at this point in time, okay?
Page 1 is done.
There's stuff on the Mac.
I actually think we've gone through a lot of that too, Andy.
Yes, you did do a lot of it, actually.
Yeah.
Remember,
Initial points up June 30th. Once again, the election workers, the registrars, by state law, they're not appointed until August 15th. Because,
It's just because.
okay.
because
Planning and Boards Advisor, Mark Violet would like to keep Bob. We're gonna get him on.
Yep.
Letter of resignation.
We got that.
Rod, we got that. Review the Eagle Scout letter. We did that. Department head quarterly meetings. Do we want to make them official at a certain date and time? Or do we want to have it on our agenda every 13 weeks to just have them come in and, you know, get an update? We should get an update and be in contact with our
we should set
department.
the expectations that we get them, that whether it has to be a certain date, stuff happens, maybe it's 1 week versus the other, but we should tell all of our senior department heads like this, we expect to see them once a quarter and work with Sharon to get on the agenda,
Yep.
basically. I would think.
Could you just send them an email and just, we'll try to do it informally without having to lock them into certain dates, but we do need to get in contact with them. It's been quite a while since we've had some of them in, you know, we want to keep in contact.
Yep.
Finance Solid Waste Board of Selectmen to draft a survey question for Republic Services. Will need Board of Selectmen approval for funds to set up survey for electronic responses. Discuss departmental fees, possible increase, and discuss employee handbook. If we do go to a every other week during the summertime, I would like to look at the book. Did you ever find information to give Amber a book on the policies, procedures? Okay, we want to start reviewing them.
Then we can look at fees then too, but I think we're past budget season and any.
Oh, way past budget season, yeah.
And any fee input.
So the mile markers, Mass DOT is in charge of replacing and repairing. And Amber talked to a contact she has, and they got with Heather. They're going to meet with them actually this evening. And did you see that the pay stubs They do have all the information for the full-timers and part-timers. They're working on that, so.
Good, okay.
Just so that, the information is
Catch up
there.
with the stuff we've been asking for a while.
Yeah.
Great, Andy, that's great.
All right, the only other thing we have here is the town of Spencer is looking for us to reimburse $50 for the veteran services. They're saying that the veterans agent, Scott, works out of the Spencer Town Hall, and the accountant in Spencer feels that he has used $50 worth of Spencer's postage and printing and would like us to reimburse them.
I don't think we ever have an expense on our side for that, Andy, right? So we could pay it out of that budget, that line item.
Absolutely. It's just, this would be an appropriation that the town of Spencer is looking for. So we would have to get with our accountant and their accountant to figure out how in the world we would, they'd have to send us an invoice, unless you want to call this an invoice.
That could be considered.
Yeah.
It's voucher is it's half invoice anyways, Andy?
If we could hand this over to Donna, see if she can put that on the upcoming warrant. We don't have an issue with that.
One way or the other, he'd be paying for it either through us or through someone else, so.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else?
Other than a headache, no.
All right, I am painstakingly going through the list to try to go through which are seniors, single-family, multifamily, commercial, and unoccupied, but nothing is correlated, so I actually have to go through each one and look up each one.
And we got to be very careful about setting rates based on that, Andy. We got to pay the bills
This is
too.
the information.
Yeah.
We're not saying that there's going to be a different rate.
Yep.
It's just,
How does it break down?
right now, this second, of the 636 water meters, how many are single-family, how many are multifamily, how many are commercial,
Yep.
and how many are seniors?
That's the information you were getting for a recap, right?
Right.
She had
I was
asked
giving
about-
that information recap, but it is information, we've never developed that information, and it's something that, you actually should
General
know.
idea about it. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, Andy. A lot of that'll go into setting affordability calcs and things like that, so that's not wrong.
So the only other thing was, when we're talking to Jake, about his different issues, we brought to his attention how many issues he had with his meters.
Okay.
Once we get a clerk in his office if we can get somebody in there 2 days a week, they can actually look through, and everyone that's zeroed or below 100 gallons, let's say, they should have a notation next to each one of them to figure out how and why.
Sure.
My aunt and uncle go to Florida.
Makes a lot of sense.
Your next door neighbor pulls his meters because of the wintertime.
Yep.
This guy's house is under renovation and nobody's there. This house burned, this house is for sale. We should have notations on all of them so that we can keep track of which meters we have an issue with. And if we get to a point where we have a certain percentage of issues with the meter, then the meter salesman or company or supplier should be paying us a visit and figuring out how and why.
Yeah, I agree with that,
So,
Andy. Yep, I agree with that. And I think also as
channels, he figured out, what the issue is and how to fix it, but, it should have.
well, and I would also say that Jake will have more time as some of the construction wraps up and the startup of the plant. So I think between Jake and the clerk, a lot of things that have been important but not as critical as the running of the plan and getting it up and running will be easier for the superintendent to keep up with too. We're almost there.
It's close.
So motion to adjourn at 10:10. Wonky tonight.
I'll second that.
This is when the 6 o'clock start is nice.
Well, it's just, we did have a lot to go over this evening.
Oh, yeah.
But,
You did.
yeah.
10:11 now.
I made the motion at 10:10. Second.
So what do we got next week? We got
Maybe make and second your own.
coming in?
motion.
Amber, can you second the motion to adjourn
I did.
at 10:10?
You already did. We already
I
approved
did.
it. Yep.
I
Do
did.
I have to vote on it or?
You're all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Day.
No.
By yourself.
Motion carries.
Thanks for watching the Town of East Brookfield's YouTube channel. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, or anything to add, comment them down below or email ebmedia@eastbrookfieldma.us.